All right. What about you?
I would say the good is I've recently in the last few months chosen not to date while I'm scaling my company. But prior to that, the good would be I have been able to meet a lot of men that are also successful that when I do my sales pitches to get contracts with other companies. So I'm coming and I want to talk to the big dog. Let me talk to whoever that is, he, she, whatever. And if it's a man and we get along great or something, maybe I would want to connect. So and I already know we have something great in common that could help us grow together. So I think that's great. I can seek insight if his business is more successful than mine, vice versa. Hey, there's room to grow for both of us. So I think that's really awesome to be able to just instantly connect with other men. Other men.
So you're able to meet successful men. All right. And then what's the bad?
The bad would be oftentimes I come across men that seem to think, so the way I grew up was a pretty kind of traditional. My dad is a workaholic man, excuse me, I'm like losing my voice, provide, protect. My father's very old, he's born in 1940, he's 84, so the type of man that I'm attracted to, it's hard to find now. It really is the way society is, so it's hard to find. So, oh my gosh.
Niku, can we get some water? Niku, can we get some water?
You gotta get off that vape. You give that vape up, girl. It's time.
Give it up, girl. That's my bad habit. Okay, so the traditional man that I'm looking for would be, just because I am successful as well, doesn't mean I thank you. Doesn't mean that I don't have expectations, the classic expectations of a man, and I am willing to, fulfill my side of things.
So the bad is it's hard to find a traditional man that's a provider for you in 2024. Okay, what's the ugly?
Yeah, because they think I don't need anything. Yeah. So the ugly would be I have very little time to date.
Okay. And is that because of, I'm assuming your entrepreneurial ventures?
Yes, and then I'm also a mother, so she's my priority. I'm not, like I said, I decided not to date for a while.
You slipped that in there, though, right?
What?
That she's a mom?
That I'm a mom?
That's just, you kind of just like...
I'm just being really honest.
No.
Through in.
Yeah.
That's a sort of job. It's a responsibility.
You could have hit us with that a little earlier.
And not only that, let's just deal with the elephant in the room. The type of man that you're looking for is probably a top 3% guy. You're an entrepreneur. You're probably a six-figure earner. So the guy you want probably has to make that amount of money. Or more. He makes that amount of money. He has options. Why is he going to go with a single mother? It's not in his best interest a lot of the times.
Well, it happens. I did date a billionaire for a while, and he wasn't a billionaire when we started dating. He reached billionaire status within those years.
That proves my point even more.
What? What do you mean?
Where's he now?
Do you see what you just proved my point even further?
He's trying to basically say he didn't stay with
Way to go.
No, he did. He wanted to marry me. I said no. Because he also wanted me to sell my business and be only at home and not do. I'll lose my mind.
Why have you not done that?
Kick me off the show. Myron, kick me off the show.
Go ahead.
No,
just kick me off.
I'm sorry. The guy that I want wouldn't try to take away from me also
Ladies,
wanting to be part
who in here would say no to a billionaire that wants to just marry you?
Yeah.
You don't gotta work.
But
who would say no?
Are we supposed?
Are we talking about like controlling though? Are we talking about like what I wear, what I eat? Like there's guys like that like they want to tell you from top to bottom. I understand. Hey, I want you at home. I want a wife. Like that's totally understandable.
Wanting to,
but there's guys that like literally.
Let her talk.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. Oh, you meant me?
Yeah.
My thing was with him specifically, and what I'm kind of gearing towards is that putting me in a box to where I have nothing but you is, I want to be with you forever. No, I mean financially. I'm talking about I have nothing but you. My daughter and I have nothing but you. That's not going to happen because I feel like you're trying to lock me in a way, whereas your actions as a man should lock me in with you. I don't give a fuck if you're a billionaire. My dad set the standard high long ago. I don't care about that. So
clearly you do because you mentioned that man's socioeconomic status doesn't matter.
Being successful matters. If he makes six figures versus a billionaire, that was a coincidence.
Big gap.
I had no idea he was that wealthy. I had not a clue.
He is a low-key man then.
He wears Walmart clothes.
Typically, billionaires do wear Walmart clothes.
Yeah, he's obsessed
That's
with
how
rocks.
they became a billionaire.
That's his thing. He spends his money.
No, they got money from the
No, I care if you're successful.
Was he an older gentleman?
He's 40. Yeah, my parents were 35 years apart, and they don't make younger men.
Your dad is a boss, though. When
He's
you said
wonderful.
84, I was like,
He's
in
still
love.
working.
Yeah.
He would come sit down here and talk to you guys too, but
That's
he's going to
what's
get
up.
straight to the business.
That's what's up.
We'll invite him next time.
Can I ask you this? So this is kind
Sure.
of, and I know your answer, but I'm more so asking for the live audience. And I'm going to say something weird real quick, but if I was a single mother, never thought I'd say that. But if I was a single mother and I meet a gentleman, presuming he's a good guy, and he says, hey, and I don't care if he's a billionaire, he could just be a 100,000-aire. That's plenty for a woman and a baby. How's your kid?
She turned 6 in a week.
So she's 6, still needs a lot of nourishment. And in fact, the Carnegie Foundation says age 7, like these are the promise years where you really need to pour into them. More time is better. So he says, hey, I just want you to be a wife and a mother. So you can now double down on being a wife, which your wifely duties maybe take 2 hours a day, and then double down on being a mother. If you wanted to homeschool, if you wanted to tutor, you have more time with that child. And more importantly, you don't have stress. Why not dive into that and say, if I'm getting into a marriage, I'm getting into it forever. That's the vow. And if you're Sicilian, what are you guys, Catholic, right?
I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what
my
you're supposed to be,
family is.
yeah. So the vow is till death do us part. So why not dive into that and say, hey, I'm going to live a soft life and focus on my child and give them the best life, because once I have a child, it's not about me.
That is something that's
you
very
like that,
valid.
baby? Thank you.
I genuinely believe. You know what I think, bro? She didn't like him that much. She didn't like him that much. That's really what it comes down to. That's the elephant
if she
in the
liked
room.
him, she would have married him.
Yeah, he had money and he was successful, but he wasn't attractive enough. Maybe he was boring. Maybe he wasn't arousing to you. Maybe he wasn't spontaneous enough. But when a girl declines getting married to a guy that's successful 9 out of 10 times, she didn't like him that much. She was just tolerating him to a degree.
Look, I'll tell you, to answer your question first, is that is a beautiful thing in itself, and that's very respectable. In that situation particularly, that wasn't the case. I felt like the motive was to control me, and his intentions weren't the same as mine, because I felt like some of them were very vain. I'm young, I'm hot, and then I know that was probably the case because
All right, I don't have $1 billion. I don't have $1 billion, right? I don't have $1 billion, but I'm not broke, okay? And you said you're young and hot. You're an attractive lady. And in fact, I was going to say, like, you can be any race. Like, when I look at you, I'm like, you can be Moroccan, you can be Latina, you can be a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah,
Thank
right?
you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. But hotness, when you have a decent amount of money, especially like $1 billion, I'm like, nowhere near that. Maybe one day, pray for me. But that has such little value. It's not even funny.
I agree, because the pool thickens because they have access to all the women.
Not only are they as hot and hotter, and I'm not saying you're not attractive, but as hot as you and hotter, they're also younger and have no kids, and you can go whatever country you like and find them as submissive as you'd ever want them.
Yeah, I think the difference was it actually was a difficult thing for him, because he wasn't. His goals were like I'll just tell you, he was obsessed with rocks. Like he was very autistic, and he was.
That's why she married him.
Damn, girl, you got a good one. What? Come on, girl.
Like geos?
He wasn't. Yeah, no, he has a collection bigger than the Smithsonian.
He's not down
That
at the
tells me
bar.
everything I need to know.
Picking up rocks and shit.
No, it's not those kind of rocks. Like he bought the whole block of houses to put rocks in. Like it was like that was his like
It's like
infatuation.
expensive now. It's like the shit.
No, it's crazy.
Emotional support rocks.
Yeah, no, literally. So he wasn't going in these rooms. He wasn't walking into these rooms that other billionaires are. He was literally wearing plaid shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, and nobody knew he was rich. So he didn't. It wasn't like he was viewed as this.
Is it okay to say what he did for a living? Because I can, if you don't mind, we don't have to name his name, but I can assess him.
Crypto.
Please don't say that.
No.
Please don't say that.
He was a financial advisor to billionaires. He didn't start that way.
Okay.
He worked at
He's
the
a financial advisor. This was Jeffrey Epstein.
Nah.
He's dead now, so they're dating.
This is Jeffrey Epstein.
He was a consultant.
Well, one thing I will say.
Accountant.
Now, he may have loved rocks and had corks, and maybe he shows up on Valentine's Day and he got you a rock that was worth like $3 million and you didn't even know it. Should have kept it and resold it, but.
Oh, I have my rock still.
Okay, very good. But one thing I know for sure, if you're going to be a financial advisor, that is a highly relationship-based role, and I'm sure you guys know this stuff, right? It's recommendations.
Absolutely, yeah.
He
wouldn't go to anything they wanted to do. These great places.
I
to
just
meet
can't
women.
imagine you can make $1 billion being an awkward hermit. in that industry.
He was.
Like,
okay,
have you seen Elon Musk?
He also started
He's
investing
in, wait,
in real
hold on.
estate.
He's in software. I'm in software, and there's a lot of engineers who are very awkward. That's why if he was in my industry in software, yes, you can build something that's awesome.
You mean in finance?
No, I mean in software.
No, I meant like her guy in finance.
Yeah, but you said Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because he made his money in PayPal, which is a software.
So I can answer the question for you. So how he reached billionaire status was not solely from what he does with finance.
Okay.
So he invested in a lot of real estate on the side, which is what they do at financial advisors do with people's money. They pile it up. They do a lot of different things.
So
and
he
put
was
it in
good
real
enough
estate.
that he had discretionary income to invest in real estate.
Absolutely, but he also would. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. He did the finance. He did real estate. Oh, I'm sorry. When he signed with, he went independent for a while, and then whenever we decided not to get married, he was like, "Well, I would rather have less free time since I was only keeping my company that way, like private. I mean, in its own sector for whatever, not sector. That's the wrong word. Anywho, sorry, I got nervous for a second.
Okay. No, it's all good. It's all good. You're not on the hot seat.
So he was an eccentric
he
billionaire.
He signed contracts with banks when they wanted to work with him, and those were very, very big. And so he's getting a plethora of that. Then he'd go invest it, and then he was great with numbers. Super.
So, as Myron said, you basically just didn't like him that much.
I didn't like
100%.
the way he wanted me to be, because if he would have said, "Hey, I want you to have more time with your daughter and be able to be softer," no, it was, "Nope, you don't need to have this. When you do this, we're going to do this with the money, and it's not going to be in your name." It was very, "I'm going to control it. It's not for you."
Do you
And to
feel
me,
like the
that's like,
man
"Are you
is
trying
the
to pimp
leader?
me? I don't get it." Pimp
Well,
me
I don't
without
think
the whole
billionaires
stuff.
need to pimp, but do you believe the man is the leader in the relationship?
Yeah,
Are you a follower?
not a follower of anyone. I'm submissive to a right man.
Sartine.
I'm not a follower of anyone, but I'm submissive to the right
No,
man.
I mean
that doesn't make
just
sense.
I'm not a follower to just anyone. Like, you can't just get me to. I'm not.
Sartine, what do you think, bro?
impressible in that way.
I think it makes sense because you can't follow some weak ass dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let the right man lead.
I'm
That's
not
why it's
just
hard on
gonna
these girls.
follow
They
you.
want a guy that can lead, but look at most of these guys. Could you follow most of these guys?
Yeah,
out there?
what he says before, like when women say, "I want a guy to buy me flowers," she wants someone she's attracted to buy her
Yes.
flowers. When she says,
gotta be the
"Hey, I
right
want
guy."
someone to be expressive to me," no, you want someone who's attractive to you to be expressive to me. And when women say, "I want a man to lead," or "I'm a boss bitch," what she's saying is she's looking at 85% of the men she encounters, and she's like, "I am not going to follow this weirdo here." And then if the right man comes, then his masculinity allows her to be feminine. And that's probably what she's looking
I
at.
think they think that, but one thing I know for sure as a business owner is when someone comes onto a job, the first thing you have to do is train them. The person that's easiest to train is the one who has prior experience. So if you've lived 30 odd years and you have not been submissive and you've not been following a man's lead, then you're going to come into that relationship with a lot of baggage. A lot of training is going to be required, and it's going to be quite chaotic. Like, for example, there's a number of women that you could ask. They're probably not here. Many of them might be in Mississippi, Louisiana.
Just maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll be there. You say, "Can you follow a man's lead?" Yes, full stop, no explanation. When you have the explanation, that's when we know there's a problem.
I think a lot of these guys
What
aren't
did I
capable of
explain?
leading.
Were you
I think
meaning
we
me?
sometimes forget because we're around like higher level dudes that we like kind of aren't around these guys. But you see a lot of these guys are just not capable.
I got
of it.
I have
you're right.
I have a quote for you
my-
guys. I have a quote for you guys. This is from.
This better be deep, Rolo.
Yeah, it's very
always
deep. Okay,
deep.
because this reminded me of something here. This is actually from the 16 Commandments of P0rn by Royce
P0rn?
from back in the day. This is number 3.
She might know
This
it
is
already.
No, because this is exactly what he was talking about here. It
What
says-
was commandment number 3, Natalia? Do you remember
Right.
the commandments of P0rn? Wasn't that a
That's
movie
not-
you were in?
Yes. Yeah. No, that was chocolate foam. 3, you shall make your mission and not your woman your priority. Forget all those romantic cliches of the leading man proclaiming his undying love for a woman who completes him. Despite whatever protestations to the contrary, women do not want to be the one or the center of a man's existence. They, in fact, want to subordinate themselves to a worthy, say that with me, worthy man's life
Hallelujah.
purpose, to help him achieve that purpose with their feminine support and to follow the path that he lays out. You must respect a woman's integrity and not lie to her that she is your everything. She is not your everything, and if she is, she will soon not be anymore.
I think you hit it perfectly. Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Lucy.
What when you say you have to teach someone, train them? I think that's a lot of parents. That's their job. My father, like I said, set the example. I didn't mean that as a flex. Like, oh, he showed me $1 million in a duffel bag. You could never flew me private. That's not what I mean. That stuff is superficial. What I mean is he like, he raised me right. I don't have daddy issues. Like, I don't have, like, people would say, I don't have daddy issues.
He gave you a good example of what a man is.
He gave me a good example, yeah. So if you want to train me and I say...
No, I don't want to train you.
I don't mean you.
No.
I mean...
I'm sure these 3 guys here would be happy to train you, though, but not me.
I'm so good, thanks. No, if a man, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so if you're like, I want to train you under this, program of life for us to be great, and I say... Yeah, that doesn't match up to what seems right. Who set the example for me to be who I am and grow? That doesn't align with me. That doesn't make any sense. Then that's me not being submissive and what? Like, no.
Was your mom a stay-at-home mom?
She worked as well, but she was a professional singer and stuff. It was her passion. She did her passion.
All right, so she did like a little side hustle that didn't really make money like that. Your dad was the predominant breadwinner.
She didn't do a side hustle. She was very well known.
Your dad was the predominant breadwinner, and he paid most of the bills, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's exactly what the billionaire probably wanted you to do, and you didn't want that life. So I would say he pretty much kind of did follow and emulate what your father had out. The thing is that he probably just wasn't attractive enough for you to fully submit.
Not accurate.
There's no way you like
the byproduct is that you didn't marry him.
So
like every girl, because here's the thing, man. Like girls like to sit here and be like, oh well, etc. Like every girl at the end of the day wants a man by their side that they can love, admire, and respect. If a girl gets offered to be married by a man and she declines it, I know off rip he did something wrong. If he has a lot of money but you don't marry him, he's probably a weirdo. You kind of alluded to it earlier with him collecting rocks and being autistic. He probably wasn't sexually attractive to you like that. You probably didn't find him arousing. No, you would have been with him if that was the case.
So
he had some kind of...
So what's your explanation? What's your explanation?
My explanation is that he wanted to put me in a box that only he could control. It wasn't about the benefit of myself and my daughter. It was, this is what I want you to do because I don't want you to be able to leave if I fuck up. And everyone's human and everyone makes mistakes. If you do
like to leave?
No, if you look, if you put your hands on me, if you call me out of my name,
call you out of your name. I'm not suggesting it, but word, you gonna break a marriage because of that? Word.
The only time that's okay is in a very specific scenario, and we know what we're talking about there. No, but
your grandma got cheated on, and it was like it is what it is. Like
that
maybe your
with
mother
successful
as well.
men, sometimes that's something you have to be willing to accept.
Right.
That wasn't something that I even kind of saw.
I agree with you. If a guy gets physical, get him out of there.
He's still hit
though.
Yo, Rolo, is this a burning desire or no?
Oh, this no. Well, I was going to say
genuine desire.
It's like well, it's not. Well, the thing is he wasn't a worthy man to commit to. That's I think people like lose their shit when they say, well, he's a billionaire.
It wasn't my loss. Like it wasn't.
You can still have a billionaire that you're like
okay.
kind of creeped out. If you're creeped out by a billionaire, you're still creeped out by a dude. Okay, it doesn't matter what the guy is broke.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think it was your loss. And that's the thing. Like we kind of sit here.
Well, it's definitely a loss.
Here's the problem, man. We don't tell women when they fuck up. Like the thing is that you might get 2 or 3 good guys that come through in a lifetime for you. And the more things you have that are against you, I call them handicaps. You're older, you have kids, you have a questionable past, you're involved in some type of profession that might fuck you up. Hold on. Right? You get some of these guys that come in that genuinely like you and want to marry you. You might get 2 or 3 of these guys in a lifetime, right?
Yes.
That actually like you and want to provide for you.
Go.
And women tend to like meet these guys like, oh, no, he wasn't good enough. Break up with him, not take it seriously, and then try to come back later and realize, oh, no, I fucked up. And like, women don't get it. Like when you have a kid, as you get older, it just gets harder and harder.
We want it all.
And
we don't prioritize.
And the more money you make, the harder it becomes. So all you're doing is kind of like just handicapping yourself to find a guy. And we don't tell women like that was a bad decision. You probably should have stuck it out with that guy because you don't think you could. You really can't do better like you think you can. But the problem is that you girls all think you can do better.
Yes.
And the reality is you really can't.
Can I say something?
My priority is to be happy.
Yes,
we can.
I just want to say something.
Whoa,
yes,
really?
We can. Absolutely.
If a man really loves you,
love?
Truly,
We're talking about love?
Truly. If a man really loves you, really wants to be with you, really admires everything that you are in totality, not just who you are, everything that you do, everything you aspire to have, everything you aspire to gain from your profession, your livelihood, everything else, he would never tell you what to do with your money. Tell you how the money situation
Advice is one thing. Advice. I mean, he's a financial advisor and became very wealthy because of it. Of course, I think your advice is valid.
That's a sense of insecurity.
But when it's selfishly fueled, and you're telling me something that you would tell you wouldn't tell one of your clients' granddaughters to do with a man. Now I see manipulation.
He's dating you, not his granddaughter's clients. Sorry.
That's not what I'm saying. If you're giving me advice with you, you're telling me I should make you my end all be all no matter what. And if you fuck up, I can't go anywhere. I can't.
You like to leave.
Respect myself.
You're flighty.
I was in an 8-year relationship and then a 4-year relationship. That's all I know. That's all I
got 2 questions here, and with all due respect, the billionaire is the baby daddy, right?
No.
No?
No.
She wishes. I wish that for you, love. Like, I wish that for you, that he was the baby daddy.
So he was just the guy that you just said, you know what, I'm not into this, and he's a billionaire, but I don't care.
I mean, I didn't say it like that. He was.
It was
his
a weaker
name.
guy. A weaker guy was the baby daddy.
No.
A weaker guy.
I was going to say,
like the baby daddy. The baby daddy was stronger.
That's my question. Is like, what was the characteristic difference between the billionaire and the baby daddy?
They couldn't.
Are they comparable at all?
They're here.
Opposites, right? Opposites, right?
Huh?
Opposites, right?
Not opposites. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you go billionaire or 6-figure earner, that's a big difference.
No, not a money thing, but what about personality?
Characteristics.
Personality,
Worthy
very
man.
different.
Thank you.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very different. And my baby daddy. I did prolong the relationship, and I didn't leave and run away as soon because
you left.
I did,
yeah.
because if I'm not going to let my daughter grow up seeing anything that I don't think that she should.
Fair enough.
So I will leave. But he was very different. He was very different culture. They were one was Jewish, one was black and white.
Oh, and there goes the chat. Holy shit.
Two different.
With the baby daddy's black and white.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Of course, the rich guy was a Jew. I mean, come on.
I mean, in Louisiana, Creole people are everywhere.
Sure, yeah.
That's where
French
I'm from.
Quarter,
I was one of the what? The French Quarter.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's not where Creole.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
Let's just move on real quick because I still got to ask these two.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? Good, bad, ugly for your professional field, and I know you're a porn star, right? So yeah, for you.
Yeah, my dating life sucks. I ain't gonna
All right. What's the good, the bad, and ugly?
Well, the good is I get to travel. I get to go all over the world. People like just flaunt to me, and I just feel like I just get all the attention that I didn't get when I was little.
Okay.
So,
what's the bad?
Damn.
And I literally. Okay, so still the good. I didn't know who I was before porn. I literally stepped into my whole existence after I became sexually liberated.
So you found yourself.
Totally. I was lost. I was somewhere in there.
And now you're found.
Are you trolling us or are you serious right now?
No, I'm serious.
Okay, all right, go ahead. I just want to make sure. I've been
she
a lot
loves
of
it.
toxic
So
people.
travel,
I feel like broke
people.
dicks fuck better, so I always go for the.
No, that is a fact. That is a fact.
You say broke dicks fuck better?
Yeah.
That's is that a t-shirt?
I fuck the rich guys when they pay me, but when I'm like by myself, like doing my own thing,
So
I
there's
fuck the
hope
guys
for the
with
listeners. There's hope for the listeners.
Hey, man, I'm broke.
All right. So
I have
I'm broke, so we gotta get her that.
It's funny because we talked about this last week. Anytime you guys are paying a woman for her affection, I have a ton of friends and the female friends will tell me this guy's paying me for my affection, and they're always laughing at him. There's always something funny that he did. They're calling him autistic, calling names behind their back, and there's always another guy she's having sex with who isn't paying her. No. And there's always that situation that's happening. Huh?
Autism was not a slur, by the way.
What'd you say?
I'm a bit autistic. I have ADHD. I have all that.
Yeah, but what my point is that I knew when you said that, some guys pay you, that there's also going to be other guys that are like, they would never pay. And you would never consider asking them to pay you.
No.
Yeah, okay. So I just want to make sure this whole idea that there's two sort of modes that a woman has in her brain.
But my dating life, like, the guys I usually go for are toxic, so...
That's very enlightened.
All right, so the positive
very enlightened of you.
Just so I make sure I have this right.
By accident, I'm trying to work on myself. That's why I'm not dating anyone right now.
The positive is you found yourself, you get to travel and you meet people. All right, cool.
I've been all over the world. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Japan. I've been like...
And then with the bad is what, toxic men?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the ugly?
Well, yeah, I've been in domestic violence. I've been through all that. My parents were not good together. My father was an alcoholic, narcissist.
So your mom went through it and you saw it?
Yeah, she was a codependent.
Okay.
She
it wasn't you?
No.
They didn't, okay. So,
I stay away. I drink a little bit, but not.
Okay. All right. And then what about you? What's the good, the bad, and ugly?
You already asked me. You started off.
Well, no. Well, you didn't specify because you were kind of answering Mike's question. So tell us specifically, like, is the good, I guess, meeting people, throuple?
Yeah, the good thing is meeting people. My dating life has been really good. I've been with my boyfriend for over a year. And
okay, but it's an open relationship.
No.
He's about to find out it is.
The one you cheated on?
We do everything together. No, he was
Can we get a whiteboard? Can we get a whiteboard? Okay.
I need a
boyfriend. Here we go. Okay, boyfriend, throuple. Okay. Other boyfriend broke up with a week ago, but this boyfriend a year.
Well, she just said that.
Both of them know.
So your boyfriend, the guy that you're in the throuple with. So I understand this. The guy that you're in this polygamous relationship with, he's okay with you seeing sugar daddies.
Yes.
Okay, and that guy that you saw for that week was a sugar daddy.
Well, we saw each other for like almost a month, but we dated
Did you like
for
buy
a
him a
week.
PlayStation or some shit like
Okay,
that?
So I'm just
It's
going to be
very
honest with you.
complicated.
You
It's
do
just
realize
good.
that this guy that you're calling your boyfriend doesn't give a fuck about you, right?
You know, yes, he does.
And he's broke. Don't
Think of a
forget.
guy
I know. I was gonna say, do you guys commingle money? Do you guys commingle funds?
He's broke.
We
he
do
doesn't
everything
have
together.
He barely. has
So you have a joint bank account.
Are you paying?
You guys get money together.
No, I'm not paying him.
Okay.
Like, no.
Are you paying for stuff?
But he has access to everything.
Is the dick that good?
Yes.
Obviously.
Obviously, yes.
It seems you ladies think that her guy is broke.
It's not about.
Is that-
It's not about the money.
I have no idea.
All right,
I'm done being
It's not about the money. It's not
Hold on.
about the sex. It's the connection that we have.
What does the main guy do specifically?
It's about getting
Well, I
real
mean,
murky.
now he's my manager, but he does marketing. He
He's
does
your
a lot.
manager.
Girl, no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so
But
So he's a pimp.
so it's an open
Yeah, no.
relationship,
Yeah.
All right.
right?
No, he's
but
not.
so he allows you to see sugar daddy men.
well, yeah, I mean, this all just happened in the
gotta
last
have a job,
15 days.
you know?
Like,
How old
honestly,
are
all
you?
of this just, I'm 26. It
Okay.
just happened.
She's
Everything
young.
that's been happening is just happened in the last 15 days.
Okay.
Because we were just living like a regular boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
So the good is you
until
got your throuple. Is the bad, I guess, that
Y'all
guys
just
kinda
gonna
come in and
believe
out?
she's 26.
The bad, all the bad
This is the time. Your 20s. Your 20s are for this. This is what your 20s are for.
Honestly, all the bad that happened to me was
No.
before I became a stripper
Well,
and
it shouldn't,
an
but
OnlyFans
Yeah.
girl.
It'd be like
I
that.
got I almost my ex-boyfriend almost beat me
You're
to
on the
death.
up, you're on the
Dude,
up.
like it was.
Is he an MMA
no.
fighter or that was just raw
Don't give us
talent?
No,
bad. Don't
he
give us
was.
bad rap. We
No,
don't
he
beat
was
women.
just a fucking
One guy
marine.
fucked a boy at
It was
one.
just a marine.
Raw talent. Did you say raw
So that
talent?
here you said was like just being in bad relationships.
Yeah, like
The bad? Okay.
honestly.
And then what's the ugly?
good-
And then what's the ugly with your?
I
Because
don't-
you're a dancer, right? So like, what's the ugly?
I mean, the ugly would just be the Indians that come
Oh, Lord.
to the strip club.
We just turned racist here.
Not she put the
I want to hear
Indians on
more.
blast. The whole Eastern Asian community on blast.
Let's hear this.
Not with the windbreaker pins. They always got the windbreaker
They
pins.
come to the club and think I'm Indian, and they
Did you say the
they wanna
Indians
have
play all your
sex.
bills?
No,
No, they want to have sex for $200.
Ladies.
And there goes the other half of the chat.
When I try to, because you guys got to remember that this is a podcast, isn't like some normal conversation. So when you guys are all talking at the mic, it really hurts the quality of the show and what the audience can hear. So, all right. So your guy is your manager, and
And
he
my
lets
love
you
of my
have sugar
life.
daddies.
Like, I'm going to
Okay.
marry him. Like,
And
we're
how
gonna
long
be
have you
together
guys-
forever. He
15
doesn't have
days?
the
How long?
option.
How long again?
15 days?
How long again y'all been together?
For a year, like,
Okay.
and a half.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you
I'm just
have
gonna be
it-
very candid with you. He doesn't care about you. If he lets you have sex
Yes,
with other
he
men, he
does.
doesn't care
I
about you.
want to add
He's
in.
the only man that cares about me the most.
Yeah, I wanna add
All
in.
the men I've met.
It's a man.
So
We never
far.
could. If we love a girl, we'll never let a man have sex with her. We can have sex with other girls when we love someone. That's why threesomes are okay. But when you love a girl, we just can't. I mean, would you guys agree?
How old
I
is
could
he?
never let a girl I
I
love.
definitely
If it's a girl I'm
But
fucking
then I
around
would
with, I'll
let
let her
him,
fuck
like,
my
I love
friends.
him, and I'm still letting him
different
have
kind
sex
of
with other
love.
women.
But yeah, but there's been girls that fucked around with that fuck my friends and stuff. If I love a girl, I'd never let her I never let a man touch her.
That's fact.
Yeah.
I think. Would you guys all agree with
Because
that?
you just have a different
But the girls
mentality.
understand that. The girls
You just
understand
have
though
a
that we can go
different
fuck another
mentality.
girl. and
Yes,
still
he's
love
your
them.
manager. Can I ask you a question? Has he asked you to tattoo his name anywhere on the front hemisphere of your
Yes,
body?
he did. The smile told everything.
Why are you smiling?
She might already have it.
He's your manager, and he has. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
We're not judging. We're concerned because you are young and impressionable.
Can I give you
It's
some
a fact.
advice?
Nothing to be concerned about. Like, this man, I love him. He loves me so much. But I mean,
Can I
honestly,
give you some
happy for
advice?
this
you.
is the best relationship I've had in my life.
That's awesome.
In my day, we called it.
But
there's more to
communication
come.
is
Don't give
key,
up.
and like, we're like, we're just like very okay with a lot of
That's
things.
fine. You can
Can I
say
give
that,
some
but what
advice?
I'm telling you is 99% of men are not okay with their girl having sex with
Yeah, I
other
mean,
men.
It's true.
'cause
If they care about
they're
her.
probably just not confident in
The only-
themselves.
I'm happy for you.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know
Oh.
about these people. I'm happy for you.
I'm happy.
I'm happy for you. You're happy
you.
for you.
Let me ask you a question. You said
Very
he's not
facetious.
confident. Those guys aren't confident in themselves. Let me ask you this. Who's the more confident guy? The guy that stands up to you and tells you, this is behavior I will not accept.
But
if you go
met
out.
me.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish.
Sorry.
Listen to the question
Sapphire.
so you can properly respond. I'm telling you. Well, I'm asking you. Who's more confident? The man that puts boundaries on you and tells you that this is unacceptable if you have sex with other men? Or the guy that's indifferent to it and doesn't say anything because he's scared of how you might react?
I mean, he's not scared how I would react. I mean, he met me as a stripper. He
when
was
I
the
asked
one.
you, again, who's more confident? The person that puts boundaries, doesn't care what you say, or the person that doesn't put boundaries for fear of what you might respond?
I mean, I would say, like, the one who has fear with what I would respond, or wait, what?
Bro,
like,
you're dumb as fuck, man. Holy
She's
shit.
young.
No.
Hey, be nice. She's young. She's figuring it out. We all were
I'm not
there at
dumb.
one point.
Because if I start talking to you in Spanish and you wouldn't understand, then you would be dumb. All right?
We're speaking the English language
Okay,
here.
yes, but I
don't claim to be bilingual.
Okay, yeah, I'm
with Spanish.
I'm bilingual. So I'm like, no, I'm not stupid and I'm not dumb. Because if I started talking to you in any other fucking language, you would be dumb. So don't call me dumb.
Are you saying
you are dumb? You can't comprehend the question.
From the beginning, you said to respect you, then I'm asking the same respect.
I asked you the question 2 to 3 times and rephrased it multiple times, and you don't understand. So,
I don't. Okay, then
I don't know what to tell you.
Break down your question a different way, but I'm not dumb.
You are dumb. Anyway,
No, you're
going
dumb.
back to what I was saying. No, you're dumb.
You're dumb.
You mentioned earlier that that she's in her 20s and she should be doing this, right?
No. I said you're in your 20s and that's for that. Hopefully that's not what you choose to do.
That's
but
not what that's for.
Your 20s is
I would never
a learning
take a girl
experience.
serious 25 and older. 25 and
We're
older,
not talking about taking someone seriously. We're just talking about people in their 20s doing young, stupid shit like we all at this table have done.
That's the problem. Is 20s are not young, especially for a female.
Immature, whatever you want to call it. It's a youthful mentality.
26 is young.
26 is young?
Successful guys go.
Maybe not in guy world, but 26, you're a kid.
I know a very successful man who married a woman that is literally the same age as her, and he's a billionaire.
It happens.
And he, like, they're
we know a lot of billionaires around here. Like,
she's beautiful.
But a lot of billionaires have no game still. There's some fucking. I used to live in San Francisco. Some lame ass billionaires. I was still all the girls.
Billionaires.
You know what's interesting?
They would beg me to bring girls to their house because they had no game.
You know, when I was going through this and I was looking at all the good for all the girls, every single one of them alluded to being able to meet men of a higher status and being in rooms with people, etc. And I was like, oh wow, you're able to meet all these guys.
But they're gonna fuck them, not
How do you meet women?
Huh?
How do you meet women? Don't you meet women like this? So the same way how I meet men is by being in the same room as them. So like,
he's going somewhere. He's going
He
somewhere.
probably doesn't even meet women with the attitude that he carries.
Dang.
Nice. Anyway.
I'm just saying.
That was a great comeback. Yeah, that was a great comeback. It hurts my feelings. You do realize that men and women are different, right?
Totally. Oh, yeah. I have a dick, I have a vagina.
So me being able to get in a room with successful men means I need to be able to provide some kind of value to be allowed to be in that room.
You have to be one of the
versus
successful
you.
men.
I could just be pretty.
It's hard for us.
Yes.
You're jealous of that.
Not at all.
Not jealous.
You tried to,
we made it in there.
You just tried to make an argument and conflate that a man being in a room with a bunch of millionaires is the same as a woman being in a room with a bunch of millionaires. You try to conflate the two, and I'm telling you,
have you been in that
one
room?
has to be skilled and the other one doesn't. So it's very different.
But that is a skill. Being beautiful, getting yourself to be in that room is a skill. That's not something that just happens. You have to know how to speak. You have to know how to, like...
I thought you just know how to take pipe.
No, not at all.
Which you just have to lay down for, right?
Okay, let's say I take your skill set,
that's what it's
right?
all about.
Let's say I took take a book out your page, a page out your book. Let's say I took your skill set, took your brain, and put it in a man's fucking body. Do you think you'd still be able to get into those rooms with those successful millionaires that you've met with and traveled and done all this?
I just said that. The reason why a women...
Are we referring to us women or all women? Because there's women in the boardroom. There's women that can keep up the same with the men that are right up in there that can keep the conversation.
Those are usually the ugly ones. I just want to I hate.
So we're talking about pretty or ugly?
Not all the time.
No, so if you're talking about bosses
just mean
want
keeping
what
up,
they
like-
want, right?
Sure.
And a part of being a boss and having a lot of money is convenience, right? You get things your way. So there's no way that you're generally looking for the woman who's like the board. She's on the board. She's a CEO. She's a boss babe. Because here's the reality of human existence. We use our best move, right? And so the reason that the ugly girls are successful is because that's how they get respect, attention.
I think there's a lot of beautiful, successful women. I think that's not fair. Nowadays, there's so many beautiful, successful women.
No, they all use their body and their looks to get in position.
It's a skill, though. Is it not a skill?
have a question.
Is it not a skill then?
Wait, I have a question for you guys.
Ladies, look, because we're going on a tangent here.
Because men are thirsty for women's bodies.
You're going on a tangent.
And that's why I said we need to start beating up sex.
So we're fighting against like human nature.
All I'm saying is that when all of you gave the good, pretty much all of you alluded in some degree to being able to meet higher status, successful men and getting in certain rooms.
Yeah, but without me doing porn or without me being a successful porn star, I would never even meet those people because they wouldn't care about me. They wouldn't care about a random girl.
She
on
keeping
the
it
street.
real right now.
They care because I've been in movies. They care about that. They want to be around me.
And their looks bring something to the table because you don't want to be in the room with the ugly girl. So they're bringing the skills to the table.
I have a question for the guys.
No,
I have a question for the guys.
What I'm saying is that it's way easier for you as a woman to get in a room.
Easier? Yes. Hell yes, it's easier.
So let me finish my point before you guys interrupt me or anything else like that. It's way easier for you guys to go in a room. But you earlier were trying to say, well, how do you get in a room, blah, blah, blah. And that's ridiculous because for me to get in a room with successful men, I have to bring value. For you to get in a room with successful men, you don't have to bring any value.
This is value.
We are not the same.
This is value right here.
It is not value.
This is value.
It is not.
This is power.
It is not, and I'll tell you why.
To me, that is value.
It is not value, and I'll tell you exactly why. As he said earlier, props. Props are replaceable.
We are human beings. We are
like I said
human
before,
beings, and you're human being.
When men bring attractive women into a general location, they're bringing them in for their beauty. And beauty, unfortunately for you guys, is common. Successful men are not, however.
How about big dicks?
So
I like that. Not
why are you giving low IQ responses to things that I'm saying?
Because I'm low IQ, apparently.
I can see that clearly.
Incredibly
I speak two languages
exactly
too.
why.
Incredibly
if you were not a female, you would never be able to get in these rooms because you're a moron.
I'm a woman.
Holy shit.
You're saying as a man, you just bring more aspects,
you must
more
bring value. You must bring value. Women get to live in a world where they're fucking useless and still be able to get in rooms with successful men. I'm not angry about that, but I'm going to sit here and tell you.
Can be useless. Maybe can be, not are useless.
They can be useless. The point is, there's no burden of performance. Like, look, she's still babbling. There's no burden of performance, okay? But as a man, you must bring value. I'm not saying that women don't bring value. I'm just saying you're not expected
this
to.
Is the value.
That's fair.
Just come.
It's different.
And it's fine. So when she tried to sit here and conflate, well, you get in rooms with people, it's not the same at all.
Radically
you
different.
can't conflate the two.
Yeah, we've worked our ass off for years.
Well, can you consider the fact that she said her value is this, but every woman around the table also has breasts? Whereas in the case of Myron, like, okay, well, what's your value? He says, I have a background. I work high up in government. I did things that are important to national security. Okay,
one of the biggest podcasts, too.
Right. And so we can all identify things that are...
So what does that make you since you're on it?
I don't even know who said that. But the point is, we can identify a unique value add that is unique to us. So if a woman chose to be with Myron, Fresh, or Marquette, or anyone else here, they would say, okay, this thing about him like really turns me on about him. I like this thing about him. Whereas if you just limit yourself to saying like, this is my value, one, it's ironic because you're objectifying yourself as a woman. And two, you're limiting your value to something that every single other woman has.
Ooh, talk to the Marquette. Damn.
I can see your point. I understand where you're coming from. I can full circle. I see the points.
So how about this? How about this? There are some cases. I had 2 female squadron commanders in the Air Force. There's sometimes where women do have a burden of performance. There is no man who doesn't have a burden of performance, unless you are born incredibly rich or you live in your mother's basement and you've totally chosen to take yourself out. We all have a burden of performance, and so there are occasions where a woman is either very, very attractive or she's sitting there as a wife where she doesn't have a burden of performance. And the thing is, as a man, if we do that, then we end up with no sex, no money, no nothing.
And here's the other thing too. I was going somewhere with this. The reason why I said that I found it interesting that all of you have been able to be in rooms with successful, attractive, handsome men, etc., that are worldly, etc. Only one girl here, I think, is married.
Two.
So what does that say?
Two.
Some people don't want to be married.
But she still sleeps with other guys, though.
Yeah.
So we don't call no one.
Yeah, and then she recently got married. So I just found it interesting that like all these women have access to the top tier guys, but they're not married. What does that say?
What does it say? I'm curious what you think it says.
What do you think it says?
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with your point. I don't think we should be objectifying ourselves. I think a lot of women that are beautiful and they don't have a brain, they use their body, and that's what they have to give. And there's a lot of beautiful women that have a brain, and there's also women that aren't good looking, and then they'll go and they'll get success. It's like the men who are 5 foot and then they end up being billionaires, and we'll settle for them because they got that. That's what they're bringing to the table. That's what you're bringing to the table. It's different. Yeah.
I found it funny that she said 5 foot billionaire, but I'm settling for that. Isn't that? Did you notice that?
Yeah, settled for a billionaire.
That's the truth.
That's precisely why so many women stay single, is because they elevate their market worth and think they deserve more. When reality is they deserve less, man.
And when we're throwing around the term billionaire casually, I think there's very few people who have a strong enough grip on mathematics to know how astronomical that figure actually is.
I think they're all high millionaires, most of these guys.
$100 million.
Exactly.
And then
I don't even know that many billionaires.
Right? I'm like,
there's not that many. I know guys worth. I was going
to ask you guys this. There's 756 billionaires in the United States, and how many? And they know all. And my question is, guys, do you think a guy worth, I don't know, 4 or 5 million could make a woman think he's a billionaire?
Totally. Yeah.
I'm a billionaire.
I'm going to be all the way a million.
You can rent the jet.
I'm not talking
about to her. Your guy's not a billionaire.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you, Lucy, specifically.
The guy you were talking about, he wasn't a billionaire.
I'm not talking about you specifically, Lucy.
And when we talk facts and opinions, that's an opinion.
There's 9 billionaires in the state of Nevada, and 4 of them are divorced women, or one of them, Sheldon Adelson's wife. So in that case, my point is, I think often, most of the time, when I hear women say, "I've dated a billionaire," they're dating some guy maybe worth $2-3 million, and
or their business deals with billions, but they don't have billions.
If I share details,
I don't know about your.
I'm not talking about you, Lucy. I'm just saying I hear way too many women tell me that they're dating a billionaire and they don't know what that number means or how rare that is.
Yeah, and that's why when you were describing how he made his money, I was like, he's not a billionaire.
Do you guys remember?
Probably worth maybe 100 million, 200 million. But the thing is,
that's
that
a lot of money still.
Let's just keep it a million. Most girls are terrible with fucking money. They don't understand how money works. 80% of the consumer base is female. 3/4 of debt is women. Ooh. So women suck with money.
Girl math.
They suck with money.
Bro, do you guys remember the show that we did? It was, well, Miguel was on the show with you guys, but it was Ken McElroy and George Gammon was on there, and Robert Kiyosaki was on there.
Yeah.
And then I think Justin Waller was in the room too, and we were all in the elevator, and we're like, how much money is in this elevator right now?
Yeah.
And I thought about that, and I go, if you looked around at all those guys that were there, I mean, with the exception of maybe Justin Waller, like if you looked at those guys just walking on the street, you would not say, that guy's a billionaire, I'm going to go after that guy. You would not know the difference whether that guy is. And the only billionaire, the close billionaire that was in that room was Ken McElroy.
Yeah.
All the rest of them were worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Because he said he made his money in real estate. That's why I got skeptical.
Yeah.
Because I'm in real estate.
Ken McElroy is the only billionaire I know.
You know how much property you have to control to have a net worth of $1 billion?
Yeah, there's not.
That's why in my head I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. He's probably worth a couple, maybe 100 million, 200 million.
There's some other things too, but I was nervous and I didn't want to go on a tangent, but.
I'm not sure. Well, and you got to remember, Ken McElroy remarried to a much younger woman.
If you're a woman making $60,000, you have not the foggiest idea of even what a millionaire is. And that's mostly what the case is. We have a lot of OF girls who are exaggerating their earnings, and they go on podcasts like this, and all of them act like they're balling. The average earning is $150 per month. So the reality is.
OF.
Yeah, and women, because they don't pay for things, especially when they're dating bosses, they don't know what things cost. I had a situation very quickly. I was dealing with a very good-looking young lady, Latina from the East Coast. She flew herself out, which I respect, because I'm not going to fly you out. She flew herself out, and I had a number of things arranged. It was Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Super Bowl weekend.
So it was an expensive ticket too. Much respect.
So not only is everything expensive, I'm doing everything A1, right? So. Hotel.
Can you please stop
with
with the low IQ comments on the side? If he's speaking, shut up. Like, let him talk.
So, incredible. Long story short, at the end of the night, and I got 2 places in Vegas, right? And so I have a hotel set up with her, and I'm not going to pressure anybody. Like, if there's a flow, there's a flow. If there's not a flow, let's carry on, right? So we had a 2-night situation. So I dropped her back off at valet, and I said, do you want me to come up, or shall we say good night, I'll see you tomorrow morning? She says, why don't you come up? And then first thought in my head, I was like, okay, cool. You're trying to get maxed out. So I go upstairs, we're chopping it up. And then eventually, and when we sit down, it's the most awkward thing on earth. So there's this huge couch. I sit down in the middle. She sits down all the way at the edge. I never seen anything like this in my entire life. I was like, this is weird as hell. Now, as I said, I'm not going to press it. So we have like 5 minutes of conversation. I'll say, hey, I'll see you tomorrow for breakfast. We'll do X, Y, and Z. I'll see you in a bit. She's like, whoa, where are you going? Why are you leaving? I was like, because you're sitting as far as humanly possible without sitting on the floor. Like, you're sitting as far as possible. I was like, so I'm too valuable to be in a #MeToo scenario. I'm too valuable to be in a you pressure me. None of it. So I'm leaving. Why are you leaving? Let's talk about it. Oh, there's nothing to talk about. It's 1 a.m. and you invited me up to the suite at 1 a.m. There's not much to talk about at 1 a.m. I was like, you are supposed to be getting smashed right now. And if you don't want to get smashed, then fantastic. I'm going to leave. But we're not going to sit and patty cake and chop it up. I got a number of events tomorrow. We can talk then. No, wait, hold on and talk. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm booking you a flight. What? Yeah, I was like, yep, I'm booking you a flight. You're flying out as soon as possible. Then she gets back to the East Coast and she texts me like, hey, you know, like I kind of thought about it. I understand. I want to pay you back for what you spent. Now, mind you, she flew herself out. Yeah. She said, I want to pay you back for what you spent, right? VIP Super Bowl tickets, the best suite in Crockford's, which is an ultra luxury resort, dinner, everything the finest, right? I think she sent me like $400.
Which ended up playing girl math. That's what you're getting
she
at.
sent like $400, and I respect the fact that she tried, and I understand that this like means something in her income, but I was like, I paid that to valet to park my car.
Yeah.
I paid that to valet and mind you, valet is free for me.
Yeah,
that was a tip to valet, and it just annoyed me because I was like, see, like. We work so damn hard to get in position, and you can never appreciate it because you do not comprehend. Yeah. You want to say millionaire, you don't know what a millionaire is. Yeah. Like, and it annoys me because, and then a girl will get a guy like me, and then she's like, oh, you work so much. Do you think I'm successful from not working? They all actually want an influencer so that the guy makes money while showing his cool lifestyle. Which I think most of these guys are broke anyways. But I say that to say women do not have the foggiest idea of what true prices are, what it really takes to earn, the value of $1, and what a millionaire lifestyle is. Because I have $1 million in just cars. So people want to say they're a millionaire. They couldn't afford my cars and still be a millionaire. That's a lot of money. But women expect you to be able to switch a car. You know, they expect you to be able to get in here and get in there, and they don't realize how much it actually takes. And also, if you're living an Instagrammable lifestyle, how far $1 million does not go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well said. Easy to spend
That's because women marry a lifestyle, not the man.
That is true.
They want the lifestyle.
It's just really crazy to me how often women are fooled. Like, say, oh yeah, I talked to this guy at the strip club and he owns Bitcoin. They're like, he's the president of. I heard a girl, I swear to God, a stripper at the Reiner say he's the president of Bitcoin. That's amazing. Like, it's like when you hear shit like that, it's like, bro, what the fuck is it? And they just get fooled. And then the other one is the guy who's doing something illegal or knows he's got to get his money out of there quick or doesn't want to pay taxes on it. We call it the drug dealer effect. So this guy has a ton of free time. He's got to spend his money really quick.
Talk about it.
And the girl feels like, oh, I'm dating a millionaire or a billionaire, and she's not. She's dating a dope dealer, and she doesn't have any of. And he has plenty of time. And then all of a sudden, she finds a dude who's a square. He's not spending as much money because he's putting in a 401k, and she's like, he's boring. It's like, no, this guy right here is going to be generationally wealthy. You're dating a guy who's about to do 5 to 10 in fucking victory.
That's right.
Yeah.
Does someone else have? Someone had a question or something like that.
I had a question for the guys because I was like wondering if you guys were able to make $2.5 million through OnlyFans and stripping and doing porn all together, because there is some girls that
it's like 2 or 3.
hit those like numbers.
It's so few. These girls are lying, girl.
And they're going to end up
broke. Would you guys do it too? Because I'm like, you guys have this strong opinion on
now
girls.
I wouldn't. When I was younger, I had no money maybe, but yeah, now I'm.
If there was an equivalent of getting easy money.
Yeah, every man that I know, if they had the opportunity, says, hell yeah, I would. Hell yeah, I would.
I feel like most of them are judging.
That's the measure of the man, though. That's how you measure the man the same way you measure the woman. Because there's a lot of women who, I know women that are shaped like an ocho, you dig? Shaped like a number 8. They could easily go into the industry and cake out, but they choose not to. That's the measure of the man. I remember when I was getting into boxing, and shout out to real fighters, real champions. I love combat sports. And then my buddy's mom called me. They're both Jewish, and she said, Marquette, you went to Berkeley, you went to Johns Hopkins. Do you think it's smart to get punched in your fucking head for money? You think that's what people like us do in our class? No, that's what lower class. No disrespect. You know, I get it. But she's like, no, that's what lower class people.
In the parking lot now.
Yeah. That's what lower class people do because that is their best option.
What if you don't do it for the money?
It's true. It's like basically porn.
Why would you want to get punched in the face?
I actually was a teacher, right? So when I first got to university, I wanted to help kids make something of themselves because America is the land of opportunity, even still. And when I would have those little girls in my class, 10, 11 years old, and, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Not one of them said, I want to sell my body on the internet.
They don't know what that is.
They don't know what that is exactly, which is letting you know that is not a natural instinct. That is not a natural instinct.
They're not a woman.
And most of us, if we could do the thing we dreamt of as a child, that would be a win. I remember when they asked me, what do I want to be?
I remember James Dean, he said in kindergarten, he's like, I want to be a porn star. And he's a male, so like, how about him?
Yeah, you're fantastic for him.
Yo, what the fuck, man?
No,
fantastic. James Dean, not like the actor. I was confused for a moment.
Not like, there's a guy.
I was like,
I don't know what happened to that child. I mean, that's really disturbing that I didn't even see pornography until I was 14 years old on accident. And I'm very thankful. But one thing we do have to acknowledge is there's a number of people, and I think you had said, like that's what they have to, no, you said that's what they have to offer. Like we all have different things to offer. There's some women I've met, there's one Moroccan chick I'm thinking of in particular right now, you heard me, was not good at anything. Her conversation was atrocious. But boy, she could please you something vicious. She could please you just something vicious. And she was sweet and pleasant to be around, had no personality, no intelligence, no skill set. And so there are some people that just seem like they're better off doing certain things. I want to acknowledge that. But what we cannot do is have the masses of females thinking that the best route for them is OF.
It takes a bad bitch to be an OnlyFans model. It takes a certain caliber of a woman.
Let me play devil's advocate here really quickly.
You should never advocate for the devil when you're talking to the saints. But go on.
But I am.
Go on. Got the red glasses on.
No, but we just we had what was her name?
Ava James?
Ava James, that's right. She was in here. She studied up to become a special ed teacher, right? She was teaching autistic children.
Wow.
Very much a needed profession in our society, especially right now.
Man.
But let's just say, well, you do, you can at least recognize how much investment in education you would have to have in something like that, the money that would be involved in you taking out student loans to be able to do, you got to go to college, you got to go through all this your training, you got to be certified to teach, you got to have all the special stuff. So you're investing maybe 4, 6, maybe even 8 years of your life into that. Now you get into that.
Well, I don't know the context. There's many ways you can find yourself in a classroom, even a special ed classroom, and with insignificant levels of education and investment. But go on.
The details. Okay. But the thing is, we've also interviewed women who are surgical nurses, women who get into like very high-end professions. Hell, you could even talk to some attorneys, right? Who got into following this is the profession that I dreamed of becoming when I was a young girl. And now I want to be an attorney, I want to be a surgeon, I want to be whatever it is, right?
Yes.
And then they realize that those start them at maybe $86,000 a year. They start doing OnlyFans, and they're making that in a month.
A very small percentage of them, the data bears this out very clearly. That's number one. And then number two, they realize that there's work involved. You see, even I wanted to be an attorney. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was at Johns Hopkins University in a cafe. I was walking by. There's a little white woman with curly hair, had a bunch of papers on her desk. I said, what do you have all these goddamn papers for? You're killing all the trees. And she says, oh, I'm a law professor. I said, oh, I just got into top law schools. She says, where'd you get into? And I told her, she's like, oh, sit down, young man. I sit down, and she says, do not become a lawyer. Become a lawyer. I said, why? She says, because the profession is contracting. People aren't becoming partnered because people aren't retiring. The incomes are not, they're really capped off. She was like, so a smart guy like you, there's many other things you should do. Now, I say that to say this. And she was like, oh, and look at all these papers. She was like,
very true.
You don't get to be Matlock. You don't get to be like, here's the OJ glove.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. She was like, that's TV stuff. That's a small percentage of the work. And it's a lot of work. I met another guy who said the same thing. So what happens is these women, they go through schooling. And I don't think it's necessary that most males or females engage in tertiary education. But they go through the schooling, and women are good at schooling. Why? Because you follow fucking directions. Schooling is organized around the female modality.
100%.
Right. So then they get into the workforce, and then they have to realize that you're not special. They have to take directions, and then they have to work. And more importantly, they have to experience stress. School is a low-stress environment. I'm going to give you a test based on everything we talked about. It's predictable. Women don't like stress. They don't handle it very well, and they do not like working. The feminist lie has misguided them, so they realize this is work, whereas I could just rub my vagina and get paid. I think I'll do that.
That's work. No,
I think I'll do that.
Requires a lot of work.
You want to generalize women who are in sex work, and you think that all of them had a choice, right?
Oh, you were
That's
forced?
what you're saying?
You were trafficked?
Yeah.
I was actually a victim of exploitation, and I took it
You were
upon
trafficked?
myself. I took it upon myself. No, actually, I had a boyfriend who was
Okay.
trying to put revenge porn on the internet.
Okay.
And
Which is illegal, right?
Which is
Not at the
illegal,
time.
and at the time, I didn't have the knowledge that that was illegal.
Okay.
And so I made the choice that I beat him to the chase, and I joined porn.
That was crazy
And
what you
I
just said.
did it. And I got him off my back. He was stalking me. And
Reverse
you know
Uno
what?
card.
And also,
That was.
I found, because actually before that, I was a legal secretary. I went to school for audio engineer and music production. And so I was a brain. And so when I got into the industry, I learned that there was camming. There's other ways to make money.
Sure.
Sure. You're using your body, but it is also a job. It is a skill.
Yeah, there's
and a
levels to
lot of
everything. I agree.
women now they have the choice. Back in the day,
How old are you?
I'm 34. I already told you.
You said back in the day like you were in slavery or something.
Talk about women in past generations.
I am saying in the past, before OnlyFans was a thing.
I want to concede
Porn
that you
had to
did
be
scare
signed
the
to
crap
an
out of
agency.
me. You scared the crap out of me when you said he was going to put out porn on me, so I put it out first myself. Like
Yeah, I did.
That was.
I did, because you know what? I'm
I-
not going to stand down from a man.
I hear you, but I just
want
want to let you know that that does not make sense and that's not rational. That's why fathers are important. No, really, that's why fathers are critically important. Because if
What's
you
your
came to
dad?
me as a father and you said, "Hey, Dad, I did something perhaps irresponsible or questionable. I made a pornography with the guy I'm dating," I would have said, "Hey, I
You
understand
want to know
that."
what? You want to know? You want to go into father? So as this happened, my father was a drug addict.
Okay.
And as I did that, I told my parents, and I actually took care of my parents. Okay, so having
You
a
said you
father
took care-
figure.
you took care of
yeah,
your
my
parents with your
father went to
income from
jail.
OnlyFans.
Lucky, you know,
and all
not everyone
that.
has a
So
dad.
actually,
Like,
in
relax.
return,
We have to let her talk.
One at a time, one at a time.
return
I wanna add
that, as you say, sex work is bad and it's
It is.
shameful and all that.
I didn't say it's shameful.
You're shaming
implying it.
women.
You're
Yeah.
implying
You're
it.
No, I'm not shaming women.
but
I'm shaming those who
There-
do not want to acknowledge what it is. I earlier said that
Let
there's
her
some
speak.
women that are going to do that,
Well,
and that's
Let me
fine.
finish.
You actually interrupted me. You don't realize you're talking right now because you interrupted me and I stopped talking.
Well,
in case you didn't pay attention
somebody
to that.
needs to
So go ahead.
respond to what you're talking about. And the thing is that there is a financial benefit to take care of things if you use it in the right way.
You can say
Not
the same
all
thing about a
sex
husband.
workers.
You can say the same thing about
If
getting a
I
good
wanted
husband.
to, if we had a choice and we
What do you
wanted
mean?
to be
This
bowed
is
down
America.
to
This is
have
not
a
Pakistan.
husband.
We don't want to bow down
Wait,
to
that's
no
the problem.
We
Hold
don't
on one
need a
second.
husband.
This is not Pakistan. That's the problem. Is you keep saying if we had a choice. You did have a choice. In fact, and
chose
it's
Yeah, I
funny-
had a choice
Wait, are
and I
you-
didn't
wait,
want to do that.
You see, when I look at you phenotypically, you look white to me. People have confused you for being white, correct?
She's Italian and Filipino.
No, hold on one second. People have confused you
Filipino
for.
and Italian.
I heard you
but
say
what
that
is,
earlier.
What does
but
race have to do with this?
It doesn't have
'Cause
anything
I'm
to do with
speaking
it.
to you, and you're
I'm going to
speaking
let
to
you
me.
know. You're talking like you're so oppressed. You're the most empowered person in the society, the white woman, okay? Even more than the white man. Because white women can say white men have white male privilege, cisgender white male privilege. You're the most privileged person in the society. Talking about you didn't have a choice. If you didn't have a choice, how did anyone else have a choice? You're over-enrolled in college. You had every choice and opportunity. You're blaming others. You're not taking accountability. There's nothing wrong with saying, I chose sex work because it was the easiest, quickest dollar to get out of the situation I was in.
No,
That's what you did.
no.
You chose sex work. You
I
said
didn't
you put out
choose
the
that.
porn.
I didn't choose it
You
because
didn't
it was
choose
the
it?
easiest job. I did many careers before I did sex work.
Well, why do you seem so embarrassed about sex work then? If it
Am
was
I
your
embarrassed?
then why are you
Am
so
I
defensive?
embarrassed? I'm very much not embarrassed. And when I met you,
Okay, so
I
it's not a
told you
problem
what I
then.
was about.
Right, so it's not a problem, right? That you did
It's
sex
not
work.
a problem. I'm letting you
So what are
know
you
that
trying to
you're
tell me?
trying to generalize women who are in.
What am I trying to
sex work.
generalize and say?
You're saying, oh, they're choosing to do this, and
Who's
they have
first?
other
It's
choose.
a
I think what it was, you more so
Wait, hold
referred
on.
to like
1
sex
second,
work.
real
It
quick.
doesn't require work.
One
Yeah,
second.
That's what I think we were getting
It's
at.
the easiest
It's
job
not
on
I
earth.
don't believe it's easy.
And I'll
It's
tell you
very
why.
mentally
No,
and
real quick.
physically
Not
taxing.
Let me
easy.
respond. Let me respond. Since you all agree with each
Maybe
other,
it's easy for
let
you
me
to go to
respond.
college and
Go
do
ahead.
all the shit you're doing.
What?
It's easy to get into Berkeley and Johns Hopkins.
Please
Yeah,
stop.
you just have to
Amazing.
memorize things.
Amazing.
You just have to have.
Please stop.
Yeah, you have to
Please.
You have to have a good memory
Yeah.
to get into Berkeley and Johns
That's all
Hopkins.
you have to do.
That's
I don't
extraordinary.
think that's
That is extraordinary.
Well, she
accurate.
did say she's low IQ earlier.
I want to add
Rob,
something.
so-
I don't even
I don't-
like
I don't believe in college.
I think
I don't believe
college.
that's
I
good
don't
at
believe
all.
in it either. But to suggest that memory is the litmus
I
test,
think
that's
both
outrageous.
careers have
Wait,
their
hold on.
own
Jake,
skill
I
sets.
just wanna
that
add
you
something
have to
real quick.
learn.
I'm gonna be defensive about my career.
I just want to add
Sorry.
something real quick. I think a lot of you girls don't think about. As a man, our first love is our mothers. It's like a sign of purity to us. We absolutely love and adore and look up to our mothers. I couldn't imagine being like in middle school and elementary school and kids sending you pictures of your moms getting railed. It's the absolute devastation that would do to us. I'm just saying, if you ever have kids later on, that'd be absolutely the most devastating thing.
You know what?
That's why I've never done porn personally because I want to have children one day.
She will teach you how to defend yourself.
I don't think it's defendable though. What do you guys think if you're having
nothing wrong with it?
people,
It's the 21st
your mother getting like
that
would you guys be able to come back to that? I would kill myself, you know.
Of you
There's a lot of people that do sex work.
I want to let her
because they look at you and look at you with so much love and purity. That's why it would hurt them so bad.
Because they're trying to say sex work was easy and they don't like that you said that it was easy, or say they're saying it's not easy and they don't like.
Let me blow your minds real quick.
I think all the guys. Would you agree? Like if someone was saying to you, your mom getting fucked,
that would be very, very difficult.
That's trauma.
Right? I don't know if you guys are close to your mother.
So let me just drop before you go. Let me just drop one real quick thing. Here's the thing: is I understand what you're saying. Okay. But the fucking genie's out of the bottle right now, and these kids that are going to be the next generation past the Zoomers,
maybe more normal.
It's going to be normalized. Your mom's
these
an
kids are like fucking at like 8 years old. It's crazy. These kids are wild nowadays with the TikTok and everything they have. They're wild.
Have you seen this? It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's a reel or something. It's like these kids who are walking down the street. And these two kids are like looking at this one girl who's like, taking who has a camera, right? And one of the kids, the fat kid says, "Hey, my dad watches you on OnlyFans. He subscribes to you on OnlyFans. He jerks off to you all the time." And
how
she's
about
like,
the dad?
"Really?"
Let's shame the dad.
Yeah, well, exactly. But the thing is like that's normal. For those kids walking around,
no, today's society it's weird. No, these kids are exposed to like it's way too much. These kids are on another level.
I want you to finish. You didn't get to finish your point because they were saying that it's not easy, and you're saying it is. Oh, go ahead.
Walk with me real quick in a journey of logic, if you don't mind. So, she said your degrees are valueless, and that's fine. Let's say that they are valueless. I'm willing to go there.
No,
let's just say you're on the right path and it's valueless. But you're not making money off of your college degrees.
You're here speaking.
Do you know how I've built my?
I have no idea who you are.
Incredible.
Right. So, but you've just told me.
Let's not tit for tat. Just like let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like the tit for tat
so
is
anyways,
like pointless from everyone.
Here we go. Walk with me here on this journey. So say you're 14 years old, right? You're the version of you, but you're 14. If I'd like to make money, even if I was in the informal economy, making quick, easy money, selling crack, and crack sells quite well. It's an addiction business, right? So it's quite easy. Does take some level of brains, but you know what you have to sell crack? No one answered. Do you know what you have to sell
low
crack?
Empathy?
Didn't I just signal that she's... Who?
I thought you were talking to everyone.
Why did you...
Nigga, no, she's not. No, he's not.
Okay, all right, here we go. I'm talking to the woman directly in front of me with
You need to have
reddish hair.
initiative.
Well, more important than that, you have to have crack.
That's what I was going to say, dude. I was going to say you have to have crack. I was going to say it, and I was afraid to say it, but that's what I was like, you do need crack to sell crack. That is correct.
You need crack to sell crack. Okay? You look perplexed. If you want to do a service for someone, like say that you're a masseuse, you might even go to school. You might go to masseuse college. I know college is irrelevant and useless, but you might go to masseuse college to learn a skill, to perform a skill. And a lot of these things take time to accumulate a skill or to get connected with someone who can give you product, or you need initial capital to buy the product, to sell the product. There's a lot of things stacked on top of it. But here's how we know your skill and your offering as an OnlyFans person or as a porn actress is so minimal. This is how we know. If you were 13, you could do that job. If you were 14, you could do that job. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, love.
Absolutely not.
Why do you feel the need to interrupt? Maybe the truth might get out. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to yield the floor to you.
Yeah, let's let him finish his point, and then you can try to refute it. Go ahead.
Because as a prostitute, if you wanted to get paid $100 or $200-$300 for a guy to lay down with you, if you were 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and all the way through to maybe about 40, you could get that guy to lay down with you and pay you, and you don't have to have any skills or knowledge whatsoever. You could literally just lay there, because guys are that disgusting, and they will pay you, and you can get that lined up every day and make $1 million doing just that, and you can be barely awake. Now, here's the difference. Compare that to all the other scenarios where you have to have initial capital, or you have to have skills, or you have to have the product. So how in the world can you compare what you do with something you're born with to where other people have to go out in this world and take out the time to get that education, go get the capital to get that product to sell, or go build the skills to offer the service, and you just have your body. You just have your body. You're taking something that was given to you for nothing. You can compare that to any of those other things?
It's not just about your body. It's about psychology.
Well, how about this? Remove your body. Can you still make the money with no body?
Can. Yes, I can.
Well, OnlyFans.
If I was a stripper, I'm a stripper and I'm in sales,
you can be a sex worker with no body.
I can sell anything.
So if you were Stephen Hawking,
sure,
you could be a sex worker while being Stephen Hawking. Wait, do you know who Stephen Hawking is?
I know who Stephen Hawking is.
He's
the
been on the
wheelchair
fucking
guy.
island,
Yeah.
Who was on the island.
Paid midgets.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So if you were... I thought she was storming out. It's like, another one.
She's about to go invade
But
Poland.
if you were Stephen Hawking, you can make money in sex work? That's what you're telling me?
I'm not saying that I can make money in sex work. I can say
be
that I
super
can
weird.
use the skills that I obtained in sex work to continue to do that.
So let's say you have skills in sex work. Are those skills comparable to any other field, or are they probably less?
Absolutely.
May I interject really quickly? Are you referring to
This is
prostitution or an a successful OnlyFans model? Because building a brand, building a brand off your OnlyFans does require marketing skills.
My sex skill can build something else, right? A business, e-commerce. So if I'm selling digital products,
E-commerce is e-commerce. Sex work is sex work.
So I'm saying if I sell tits and ass and digital products, I can turn those digital products onto merch, and I can make an e-commerce store, and I could do a business, and I could do the same skill set that I did in selling tits and ass and all this other stuff, where I don't have to do that.
Right. So why does the average OnlyFans woman make $150 a month?
I'm not the average OnlyFans person.
Right. So you're talking
I'm not
about
everybody
right,
in
and
OnlyFans.
so that's why what you're saying is irrelevant, and what I'm saying is completely relevant, because you're speaking of like the very small percentage. I'm speaking of what is typical. What will happen to most females if they try to go into that industry? Not only do they make just $150, but then they ruin their reputation and they remove their future earning potential and they embarrass their whole family.
That is your perspective.
That is not a perspective.
That is
your
the
data.
perspective. Sure, it could be data. But a lot of women who are in this, they're fucking in it. So what they can educate themselves to transition and get out of it.
So why are you saying that it's good to be in something that you need to get out of? For example, when I went in software, I don't need to get out of. I'm still building software companies right now, even though I should be in entertainment, because it's so easy to obliterate you verbally. I shouldn't be building software companies.
Doing podcasts.
Right, I just show up with no preparation.
Why not? Look, I'll answer your question. Because of these situations, these podcasts, you men and society, that you guys are shaming women for doing that.
Oh, it's not shameful
and it's
at all.
Shameful. You're shaming women.
I am shaming, and let me be clear.
And it is
I used to sell drugs, and when I sold drugs, I never lied to myself. Listen, stop talking for a second. No, it is shameful.
The drug dealer wants to shame women who are
I damn sure do. And I want you to know the difference.
Their bodies.
When I was selling drugs, I knew that it was wrong. And if anyone asked me, I would say, this is wrong. And why did you do this, Mark?
So
hold on, don't interrupt me. It was no, listen. Stop talking for a moment, love. Just stop talking for a moment, love. You do need to.
Let him finish his point.
To stop talking. One, when I was doing wrong, I knew it was wrong. That's number one. Number two, I was born into extremes of poverty. It was at some level necessity. But were there other options? Absolutely. Here's the difference. You have middle-class girls flooding into OnlyFans. You have girls who have education flooding into OnlyFans, only to figure out that they cannot make a living there. So what we're speaking of is preventing them from being deluded into thinking they can make a career out of something that is merely making them an embarrassment to themselves and to their family.
It is the same thing. If
and
women got into stripping,
is it shameful?
They will figure it out, and they will see that there's resources that they can make a successful living at it.
Is it shameful?
If they don't, if you feel like
no, I'm
it's
asking
shameful,
you, is it shameful?
No, I think if you are
stripping,
in this,
is prostitution shameful?
Prostitution is a whole other thing.
No, that's what you're doing is prostitution.
No, prostitution.
The lies.
Actually,
that's the sad thing.
Prostitution. You're saying OnlyFans is prostitution.
Yes. Do you know the definition of prostitution?
Because you're accepting money for a sexual service.
For you.
You can
yes,
go
that's
ahead.
Right. It's prostitution.
Yeah.
Correct. Thank you.
So
you
if
just
this
conceded
is
that it is
digital
prostitution.
Guess what? We're living in an age where women are living in a society where they can do this and they don't have to be at risk of getting diseases, STIs,
that's
whatever.
Not the conversation. The conversation is it shameful?
We want to talk about.
Is it shameful?
It's not shameful if you feel like it's shameful.
Morally questionable. I don't know about
you better be about it.
Everyone has a
because it is for the
Everybody has a different value set.
He's speaking in generality. Is it shameful for women to be involved in that?
Would God condone it?
Morally questionable.
You guys said no?
Thick-skinned,
You live on planet Earth?
in this industry, just like selling drugs, you shouldn't do it.
I think that what we have to acknowledge is that the women who can pretty much only do that are going to do it, and it's fine. I just don't want everyday decent women to be flooding into this chasing after money because they're not going to get what they're seeking.
I think he's saying like setting up the average woman up for success. I think what he's saying is I think a lot of the women in this industry give a false or delusional experience to the average woman that might be curious about getting into it instead of giving the good, the bad, and the ugly, as he said earlier. Like straight up from the get.
I'm very successful. This is pretty simple, right? You have kids, right?
Yes.
Daughter or son?
Daughter.
Would you want her to do sex work?
Absolutely not.
So it is.
No. Look.
So it is shame.
Kick me out. Kick me out.
No, and what I am doing. I do this so that my daughter doesn't have to do this.
Understandable. But let's just say, generally speaking, most women, they shouldn't do this, right?
Correct.
So he is correct.
Genuinely.
So
society
look, listen, it is work, but he's just saying there's alternate things you can do that do create money for yourself and your family as well.
Yeah, I don't think the women understand his argument. His argument was simply that it is an easier job than others.
Not easy.
And on top of that, it is shameful from a societal perspective.
Correct.
Yeah.
Societal, yes.
Yeah. So, and guess what? We live in a society. This is why you asked the question earlier. 2.5 million if you can make it doing OnlyFans, etc. Here's the thing: am I willing to forego future happiness for temporary pleasure now? And I don't think women understand that if you go ahead and you make that money and you become successful, so as you make 2.5 million doing that, you're gonna have to get some level of renown, which means fame, which means people know who the fuck you are, which means no one will take you seriously that's a guy that actually has a name to him. He's not gonna. And if I'm willing to forego a family, a relationship, having people respect me as a dutiful woman, if I want to forego that, cool, I'll go make that money. But what women need to understand is if you make that choice, you go down that road and you go into sexual work, especially if you become famous, there's significant consequences that will fuck you up. And here's the thing. You guys don't derive the same level of pleasure from success and financial success like we do and status.
I like money.
Okay. Again, the things that keep a woman happy long-term are not the same things that keep a man happy long-term. We're happy from achieving status, acquiring currency, being able to provide for a woman. You guys don't get the same satisfaction from becoming successful as us. You guys want a family, children. Women are more people-oriented. Men are more thing-oriented. So, yeah, it's great. I'm making money now. I'm 21. Life is awesome. But when you're 31, it's not going to be the same.
And you're going to be broke.
I'm 31.
And that's why, I mean, I feel like that's why.
Yeah, back to OnlyFans paying. Like, they were trying to do non-sexual content. They actually offered me a big, they offered me a big chunk of money up front, though, without the thing, to go on there and do
and you know why
jiu-jitsu
they did that? Because credit card companies were trying to, like, Christian people came in.
I have no idea why, but they offered me a big chunk of money, and I turned it down.
And they tried to lobby credit card companies for them to shut it down. But that's going to ruin everything.
But even though I wasn't doing sexual content, I didn't want my name associated with it.
OnlyFans started out as non-sexual content. It was just for exclusive content, and somehow it turned into, during COVID, porn fucking valley. I mean, that's
it's
just
our responsibility.
You like that?
It's our responsibility as leaders
Northridge, Reseda, Tarzana.
We have to shame you because we are the ones who run the society.
I think that it can be.
In shaming you, I save your daughter.
Hold on.
In shaming you, I save your daughter.
Okay, let's not talk about people's kids. Come on, let's leave kids out of this.
You don't say nothing about my daughter.
No, it's a metaphor.
No, it's not. No, don't fucking speak on my daughter. You're not doing shit for my daughter.
Let's just not talk about kids.
Yeah.
Why are you so angry?
You don't speak for my fucking daughter.
Why are you so angry?
You don't speak for my child. You don't speak for my choices.
You seem very, very angry.
Because when you're talking about someone's child, you need to leave that out of it.
No one talked about your child.
You did. You just spoke about my child.
See, this kind of anger, you lack what's called
Is that what you
EQ.
want?
It's emotional intelligence, and because you lack EQ and don't get along well with others, that's why you have to be in a job where you're a solo. You're a sole proprietor. You have to be a sole proprietor because you can't follow directions. You can't get along well with others. It's this bad attitude. And you know I'm not talking about your daughter. When I said, in shaming you, I save your daughter, which is to say all of the young girls, when they hear that, they see the stigma, oh, the society thinks this is bad, they're less likely to go into that. And you yourself earlier said, hold on, don't interrupt.
Mind person.
You yourself earlier said you do not want your daughter to go into that. Here's the thing. If your daughter listens to you, she's likely to go into it because you're promoting it. If she listens to me, she's not likely to go into it. Did you notice that part?
But wait, can I say
Did you notice that?
She's
Do you know why women get into sex work? It's because
Let's hear that. I want to hear that answer.
Bad trauma.
I want to hear that answer.
You should want your daughter to listen to
I've been
him.
traumatized. I've been through a lot.
Most girls who get sex work do, exactly. Don't talk about that.
Yeah, I want to talk about it.
You're trying to police people's
none of y'all want to
way
bring
that
that
they
up.
live
I
their
think it's very
life.
important.
You don't speak for my child. You don't speak for
Correct,
me.
yeah.
And
Do you
go
realize if your
ahead
daughter
and
was
shame
watching-
shame sex workers.
If your daughter was
because you know
watching-
what? We deal with you type of people every
You don't deal
fucking
with me.
day.
I don't pay.
We're not talking about
You're dumb. You're dumb because that's not what she's saying.
to deal with me.
We're not talking
Yeah.
about that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about
She
that
don't
you're
deal
the
with me.
sidebar people that are trying to come in, chime in
Yes,
on what
I want
we're
you
doing.
broke. That's correct. I want you broke.
We're
That's
over
correct.
here living our life. We're providing a
Would you
service
mind answering
for
one
people
question?
Who's
who
watching it?
Would you
actually
mind
want
asking-
our services.
Would you mind answering one question?
Who's watching it?
Depends on the question.
If your daughter was watching this podcast and she's listening to what I'm saying about OF, OnlyFans, pornography, prostitution, and she's listening to what you're saying about it, would she be more likely to do OnlyFans listening to you or listening to me? Who would lead her down an OnlyFans path between the two of us?
I am her mother. I am somebody who has the wisdom in this
I understand,
industry.
but did you hear my question?
I would
If she
teach
was
her.
watching-
I would teach her.
Real
Let me
quick. No.
answer. Let me
Just answer the question,
I would
though.
teach her not to follow someone like you.
Oh shit!
Wait, not about following
And not
me.
that she would follow
No,
something like
we're not
me.
talking about following me. We're talking about
You're
following in your footsteps of doing OnlyFans. You're basically saying,
Did
I do
I
it,
say I
but
want my
don't do
daughter
it.
to follow
You
in
said
my-
you don't.
in
So I
my
said if she was
footsteps?
watching the podcast and you're promoting it and I'm saying it's bad, if she was watching the podcast, is she more likely
For
to
one,
do OnlyFans
my
listening to
daughter
you
will
or
not
listen?
watch this podcast.
Oh gosh.
Can I ask you a question
My
real quick?
daughter is
It's an
for-
example.
He's talking about the advice. He's talking about the advice in itself.
You're trying to say-
Let's
Hold
close
on.
this
Yeah.
page.
Mark, wait.
hopeless.
She answered it.
Yes.
You had a question, right?
It's hopeless.
And then-
Well,
and
I was just going to make a point. It's kind of off the topic at this point, but I was just trying to say that I think that it also could be incredibly shameful to go through your life doing what you think is necessary to get yourself the amount of money that you would get from the education that you have, to lead in a job that makes you have a certain status, and the entire time you are just so unhappy.
How about those people have
Right, I said
backdoor
that
lives?
earlier. I
All those
agree.
people who are
Women don't wanna
successful,
work.
they have
Get a
backdoor
man.
lives, and we meet those guys. We meet their real personality.
Can I ask a question real quick?
They're the guys that are really like, having great jobs and having all this shit that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We get to meet the real version of them. They don't hold back. They don't put their colored glasses on.
I'm gonna
they
beat 'em
become
up.
their real
And
person.
you
How many
just
girls have
said-
gone through trauma?
You said get a man. What if that man is abusive? What if that man is controlling? What if that man is
That's
a narcissist?
why you need to follow this
What if
ism
that-
because your problem is selection. You have a selection issue. And
It's a broken picker. It's a trauma response,
Yo,
baby.
stop.
You don't know anything about trauma?
I do. Do you mind
So,
if I
do
continue
you know
speaking?
why women take bad relationships?
I-
Because that's the way our trauma repeats.
Right.
If we had bad parenting,
Okay.
then if you had a bad father, then you will
Right.
keep repeating
But he's
the
being
same
a good father
fucking
by
pattern.
saying this.
I'm not
Thank
talking
you.
about her.
I see why you're married.
Thank
I
you.
see.
Thank
Yeah, can't there be a better way to try to fix
Like-
this?
I see.
If you've all gone through trauma, don't you want the
He's
kids and
not
whatnot
attacking
doing
your
it?
daughter.
Yeah, we won't
He's
want
trying
put
to
our
protect
trauma.
her. You're just moving
we don't want the daughter
emotionally.
to have trauma. That's why we're healing our trauma by doing this sex work because that's
That adds on
empowering.
trauma.
It's
That adds
liberating.
on trauma.
Nigga, what are you saying?
She said she on her knees healing her trauma. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perhaps we should approach it more emotionally.
What's happening? They're
Incredible.
rebelling against their
Incredible.
father right now. You're rebelling against your good
My
father.
father sucked.
I know,
Are
but
any
your
girls
good
close to your
father
father?
here, you're rebelling. And the thing is, I know you're smart, and I know that you can actually handle the truth. Somehow you attached onto her energy. I think you're more receptive to the message. You're completely off the rockers.
I've done ayahuasca. I've been through everything.
Have you noticed that consistently girls around the table say they've been physically abused?
She talked about that.
I said I was physically abused. I had domestic
But you're
violence.
not the only one at the table. And so what I'm pointing out...
Am I saying that? Am I saying I'm
Just
the
let
only
him finish
one
his
at the
point.
table?
Can I say something?
I want to say
I
something too.
think I'm the only other person with a daughter out of those girls, right? Or I have a child.
Anyone else have a kid?
Yeah, anyone else have a kid? Any women?
Oh, well, the girls.
I mean,
Not-
the girls.
not
Sorry,
girls.
I'm trying to. I want to give perspective for mothers, and I have a daughter as well, close in age with yours. I think the big picture is that promoting good decisions, self-love, and mental health. I think that aligns with you saying, "Hey, let's be real with ourselves, and let's be honest, and let's see things." I am not against sex work by any means. I have dabbled in it myself, but
What'd you do?
I was a dancer. But that's something I actually don't say. I'm kind of going on a limb because of my daughter.
You were inspired.
Same.
Because of my daughter. Yeah, I actually was. I want to protect
That's
my
why
daughter.
I affirmed you being real.
I have a lot of things about parenting that I think people that post their kids on the internet are nuts.
That's craziness.
I think that's sick. I think you're really selfish trying to show off your kid, and I don't agree with
Too
that.
many
There's
weirdos.
things about parenting that I don't agree with, but I think the most important thing to instill in children is being real with yourself. Be real with your parents. You don't have to shame anyone to do that. I mean, in the way that, hey, I hate myself because I do this. No, that's not the message.
Right.
The message is I love myself enough to say, hey, this is a means to an end, and I made this decision, and I live in it, and I live in my true self and my whatever empowerment that I attach to this for the moment. And then when you grow past that, make sure that message is clear too as to why you chose to grow past that, because that's going to change the future generation, and that's going to put good thoughts into these kids to see, hey, the easiest way out, whatever you think that may be, I'm just being very general in that sense, that's not going to breed you to be the best person that you can be or the happiest.
Tabernacle.
We all want better for our
Absolutely.
generation
I remember,
after, you know?
Yeah, I remember my dad told me, I told you guys he's old. He's 84. He has a brother that's not less than a year younger, 15 months. Okay. My dad's Giovanni, his brother's Michael. So I asked my dad, I said, Dad, why have you always take the straight and narrow with business? You know, we're Sicilian. You can get indoors. I said, why did you choose that? And my Uncle Mike is a drug addict. So they were very close in age, raised with the same parents, you know, obviously is same experience. And my dad took one route, my Uncle Mike took another. And my dad was like, because look where we ended up. I always knew that was the good decision. And I'm not saying doing something illegal and feeding into people's habits is necessary. Like drug dealing and sex work is not exactly equivalent, right?
Not at all.
Not at all.
That's not
I respect
equivalent.
the drug dealer much more.
I don't know about that, but
much more.
It actually heals men.
I think we're done.
Terrible.
I think we've touched them all. We touched all the bases there.
Okay.
Maybe porn is too.
Land a
We're
plane.
helping people.
Land a
We're
plane.
hurting
Is it?
people.
huh?
Land a plane.
Yeah, I kind of already did, and then I just told a little story.
Then you
to go
just
with
kept
it, but
flying,
that's
you're
it.
like,
Okay.
Yeah.
We have some chats here actually from Rolo. You're in?
Sure, yeah,
Or-
I'll get
Yeah, read your chat.
And then, yeah.
Do you have some too?
Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
serious.
probably.
I take these glasses off.
Well, I got to
Let's do some drugs.
The real
Pull up.
put the real glasses.
Let's get in the line.
Yes.
Yeah, let me get. Oh, geez. Okay, here we go. Jesus Christ. Fresh as balls. 50 pounds. Natalia, do you want to get tacos at El Gordo? Big homie, our prize looks good tonight. I can't wait for her to get acquainted with Freshly Pipes. Shorty, tell you where you would make a good corn star.
Oh, God. You know I like tacos.
Very funny. Okay.
I only got burrito.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Only CGA can save Fresh and Fit at this point. Get him on your show as soon as possible. I heard he's in Miami at the moment.
Yeah, we spoke on the phone.
I was going to say.
Shout out
I
to
don't know. I don't know what you guys are doing with CJ. CJ and his community trick and rhetoric is how Fresh became Beta Bucks. Okay. So you either love CGA or you hate him. Shout out to Jake Shields. He can beat everyone up. Oh, we already did that one, huh? So he could beat everybody.
He wanted to just rub it in.
Yeah, I know. He can beat everybody
Keep
up. Fresh literally taking it to the limit. Reiki girl, who's no longer here, gave a different age on whatever castle her now. Well, we didn't have to. Let's see. Black Sigma says, I have a question for Myron and Fresh. Why did you delete the last interview with Ethan Klein? I don't think you guys. It's probably still up on Rumble. Though,
it's up on Rumble.
Yeah, it's still on Rumble. You guys occasionally like delete something off of YouTube and then it just stays on Rumble.
Make sure it's guidelines and all that stuff.
I didn't think it was any.
Try to JQ us.
Yeah.
He tried.
I failed.
All right. Let's see. I got. Ivan Lale. Tell the girl in the red, Aria, were you with us at J Karaoke last weekend?
Bruh, see, I told you they were going to know exactly who she was.
I know.
That was the girl in red. Okay.
Fucking dumb.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry, Fresh. I got an idea for a Fresh and Fit t-shirt that will sell out. Fresh's face with the caption, birth control.
That was a question today.
Should we talk about that?
You're going to get all of these all day long. Zane Ayers, thank you for those $50 super chat. Just saw Aria on whatever podcast. Dude. She's smart and beautiful. And now no longer here. That's it. I'm good.
Cool. I don't have any.
Are we going to bring up your situation?
Hold on. We got some more here.
Come on. Let's talk about it.
Talk about what?
Let's take the elephant out of this room.
Elephant.
What are you talking about?
Your situation.
What is that?
With your.
There's a situation.
Fresh, I got one question for you.
The baby.
Do you now think that? Do you now?
What do you think about her talking about her child? How about your child?
Do you now think? Yeah, what child?
All right, before did you see what the video I did on that?
No.
Then
I
shut
don't
up.
watch your show.
Then shut up. Then shut the fuck up.
Well, this is what the internet wants. The internet wants to know.
Here's the thing. I addressed it already. I exposed her. She's a liar.
Who cares? He still nutted in her.
Who cares?
He nutted in her. He came in her. He was telling her that she was his girlfriend. She was
all right.
kissing all up on her. Like, why are you lying? Why do you have to lie to her?
I already did a video addressing all of this where I debunked it with evidence and facts and 1080p video. Okay? So how about you watch that video, then you could come in and ask questions like that because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right? Okay. And there's a bunch of legal proceedings going on behind the scenes that you probably can't comprehend because you're a fucking retard. So shut your fucking mouth about this topic because I already addressed it. And if you don't like it, get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna leave.
Then get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck. Then get the fuck out. You disrespectful fucking hoes think you can talk crazy. Get the fuck up out of here, bro. I already addressed the shit. I did a fucking hour-long show where I brought receipts, fucking documents, etc. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is a clout-chasing whore. That's fucking funny, retard. Man. You guys all think the same. Fucking retards, man.
I have a question.
Shit. Room temperature IQ. Talking shit. Fucking dumbass.
See you hoes later. Let's shoot OnlyFans.
Incredible. And fucking incredible. Incredible.
Wow.
Just get out of here.
I have a question.
Fucking embarrassment to
Fresh,
society.
I have one more question.
Stupid ass bitches.
Fresh. Does my vasectomy tweet make any more sense now than it did a year ago?
This guy.
I'll say this, man. You know, in times of war, you want to use weapons, right? Some weapons are lethal, not so lethal. You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, thank you.
But you're still young.
I stand vindicated.
Yeah. We got some chats here as well. Cam 2 Time says, question, ladies. What is something that forces you to turn to a man? Something a woman can't tell you or give you, or help you with that a man can. So what's something that forces you to turn to a man, for advice or help? Something that a woman can't tell you or give you or help you with that a man can.
Perspective.
I don't even understand that.
For you?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay, what can I... Okay.
That's twice now.
Yeah. Something a woman can't tell you...
Oh my God, shut up.
Okay, I'll say it again for you.
I mean, it's true. You can't comprehend questions. I've noticed that.
Okay, there's a lot of girls in here, too, that didn't understand the question.
I comprehended your question. Matter of fact, I actually remembered it an hour later.
Shut up.
Who the fuck are you talking? Hold on. Who the fuck are you talking to?
To you.
You could get the fuck up out of here too. Get the fuck up out of here, bro.
Fine, that's
you
fine.
Fucking disrespectful ass bitches, man. Get the fuck out of here.
No, you're disrespectful. I've been.
You really are dumb.
No, I'm not. I told you shut up. Try and listen to him. You're interrupting him.
Because you don't know how to fucking understand anything.
So you've been disrespectful to him and to me. Because from the beginning of the fucking podcast, you said to be respectful.
Get up and leave. Get up and leave.
Oh, shut up.
Frank Castle's back. You bitches are stupid. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody gives a fuck. You're a dumb whore. You cheat on your boyfriend. You're a fucking embarrassment to society. You're a fucking stripper. Your man doesn't like you. He's exploiting you for money. You're dumb as fuck. You're a whore. Get the fuck out of here.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's letting you fuck other niggas for money. You're stupid.
You're fucking black hole. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, fucking bitch.
You're a black hole. Dumb bitch.
God.
The fuck?
Yo, okay.
Welcome to Fresh and Fit, motherfuckers.
Jesus Christ. Now I see why they start with 8 girls.
Bro.
You start with 8.
Yeah,
Only the strong survive.
I told taking the goddamn bait, but
all right,
one after another.
Okay, so again, something a woman can't tell you or give you or help you with that a man can only.
Like advice-wise, or like just to clarify?
I think it's like advice.
That was the question. There's no context. He just read the question verbatim.
Yeah. What would you say?
I mean, anything like, man-related. I feel like I don't want to like be stereotypical, but putting air in my tires, car, sports, like all of the above, handyman shit, like anything like that. I do not try to sit here and think like I got this. I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm definitely sitting downstairs when I hear
and I'm gonna ask a man.
Was this her earring?
Probably.
She don't need it.
Okay.
Could be,
What about you?
I don't know, like based on my experience thus far, I would say that probably like financial security. A lot of women don't know how to handle their money correctly. They throw it all around the room, pretend like it doesn't exist, like forget about it emotionally.
Girl math.
So
You don't know what a billionaire is.
That's a good point.
So yeah, I think that's like, I think it's a great thing to ask a man about.
All right. What about you?
To ask a man about, definitely financial stability and, just more like labor things around the house or
a man's touch, basically.
Yes,
Okay.
things that women aren't usually doing.
And for you?
I would say financial, but I would also say like fatherhood, because like we don't know it at all. There's nothing that we'll know about it. Whether it's having a child and being like a little boy and having to take him through what it is to be a little man, we'll never know that. So.
Well said. And then for you?
Yeah, I said perspective. I also agree with everything the other lady said. But perspective, not sometimes. Women were emotional, so we look at things through a different lens oftentimes. And sometimes it's easier when you're, like how you said, you're freaking out and you're like, and it's like, okay, you're going to grab me up, let me have my moment, and then we're going to have a talk, and you'll probably be able to explain the logical side when I'm in the emotional state, and then maybe we could get to a better ground, not just relationship-wise, in any scenario.
All right, thank you. Temtem says, ask Marquette, what is an NFT? Okay.
Thesassin.com. THESASN.com.
I like that.
I have a whole conference on it.
And then, yeah. Okay, we'll just move on. We got Voyager Globus says, Chris here. Love your work. I need to talk to you about my project. What's the best way to make this happen? I'm willing to pay for the consultation. Thanks.
Oh, for me?
I think, Question Fit, yeah? How should he reach you?
You could just DM me, not Unplug Fit.
All right, what's your Instagram?
Not Unplug Fit.
Not Unplug Fit.
One. Yeah.
On Instagram.
What's the new one? Yeah, that's the new one, yeah.
Shout out to Bills, by the way, for getting this done. Shout out to Bills.
Yeah.
Columbia to Malaysia says, Michael, Mike, and Rolo, what the heck? How on earth do you not know how to pronounce nor spell Marquette Burton's name? Every video he pronounces his name. You can't be that trusted.
We can't be trusted?
Yeah, apparently.
You don't say names.
Sorry,
It was both of them, huh?
Yeah,
I
apparently.
said Marquette. Did I not say
Marquette.
Marquette? I think that the confusion is like the punter for the Raiders uses Marquette King, and they get confused. But yeah, it's Marquette. I said it. I thought pretty sure I said it.
It's French, right?
What's your middle name?
Well, let that be a lesson to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you to the Super Chatter.
Ty Logan says, Marquette Burton, the Saint is the only person I know in all of internet history that has put over $250,000 in his supporters' pockets. Join Assassin Saint and the Saint Nation to become a part of that. Okay. W. We have here again, Fast Like Bobby says, Saint gonna tell you the truth, and so will Myron. I don't know about the other guy, but these Saints are the truth. Please get your feelings out of it and listen to, because everyone else is gonna lie to you.
We read that one earlier.
Oh, we did?
That came away earlier.
Mike Davis says, Jakey boy doesn't deserve a seat at the table. Socially awkward goof. Man,
this guy out.
I'm not reading
your
this, bro.
ass all day long.
Hey, you say that is crazy.
I'm not reading this, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, whatever. We have here Darius says, if you're a kind woman, join the Lady Saints. How do they join?
Thesassin.com. THESASN.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was talking to you, it's not just to disparage you. Like, truly, if you check my background, you'll find that, I have a sincere care for people. I am certain that I know a way that people can find success. And so I facilitate that. And that's all it was. I wasn't trying to, piss you off or anything like that. And I hope that, you can get a sense of that.
Okay. Vicrip says, peace to the Saints. Please be mindful of the Saint. You share the room with him. It would be unwise to think that you could contend with him in any way. Practically impossible. Behoove your natural role and admire masculinity in its purest form. Peace to the Saints.
Peace to the Saints.
There we go.
I think going in.
Yeah.
Earn Leisure says, this is why the red pill can't be trusted. Join Assassin or nothing.
Damn.
Okay.
Assassin or nothing.
Jason Todd says, modern women want you to protect them, but don't want you to tell them what to do. If we took your mentality into a post-apocalyptic situation, we'd be dead in less than 24 hours. God damn.
We talked about that before.
Kind of crazy. Last few here. Andrew says, Jake Shields is a G. Then boys will soon no longer control the U.S.
There we go.
He says,
I have nothing to do with this. Do not cancel.
He says,
one last
You've been
one
talking about them boys?
Man.
He says, Jake, don't let that low IQ anons cloud your perspective. Question is 100% legit. Q said Alex Jones is a Mossad psyop.
Who is?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones
is a Mossad
psyop.
Stuff
What
is
does that
getting
mean?
complex.
He's been extra critical. Well, he just started becoming critical.
Just started.
Of Israel.
Took a little bit.
Recently, yeah.
Recently, so I
Drew-
wouldn't say that.
Drew Alva says, W Saint, WFNF, W Padrinos. All right. Last one here says, Durag Myron. To the ladies on the pod, I'm with y'all. I see wisdom is chasing all of you, but you are all just too fast. Okay. All right. That's it for us.
Hilarious.
Yes.
All right, we'll get the last thoughts from the ladies.
Ladies, last thoughts, comments, questions?
The last survivors. Taylor.
I think that both as men and women, I mean, we'll always like kind of agree to disagree or just disagree to disagree till the end of time. However, I think as a collective society, if we were able to find a way to understand that both of us can learn from each other and provide each other things, that perhaps the world would become more balanced. And I think we're just so out of balance that it's just like we're so far apart that there's like we're just speaking two different languages.
I disagree.
completely.
I think the reason why we're the problems that we have now is because we go off the female way of thinking. And we don't go off the male way of thinking anymore. I think that's where the problems actually lie.
That part.
Is that we care way too much about how women think, how they perceive the world, looking at the world from a female perspective, when I think we need to go back to looking at the world from a male perspective. Because, to be quite honest with you, if you put women in control, they fuck everything up.
Oh,
I'm be honest with you.
don't stop. Keep going.
Yeah, just.
I'm
It's just the
here
truth.
for it.
I mean, there's a reason why a woman wants a man who's dominant that could put her in her place. You even admitted this yourself. So you
Are you
proved it for
referring
me.
to like prior when was it that we were running the world in a male, like prior to like women's rights, or like where
like right now, right?
Yeah.
All the laws, legislatively, the way politicians run, the way advertisers market their products, the way everything is done now, it's all done from a female perspective.
like when was the
lens.
break is what I'm saying. Like when was it, like where did
I mean,
it
this has been going on since like the 60s, but like
Sexual
it's become
revolution.
more and more prominent over the decades. Like they were starting this bullshit in the 90s where they were like masculinizing female characters. I was watching this movie yesterday, The Bone Collector, Denzel Washington and Gabriel Union. No, not
Charlize Theron.
who plays
Sandra Bullock.
Angelina Jolie? Who
No. It's
wait, yeah, you're
Judd.
right.
It's Ashley. Was it?
No, it's
Ashley?
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie.
It's Angelina
Yeah,
Jolie
right.
and Denzel Washington. In the movie, she's a cop, and her boyfriend, who she was sleeping with, is a guy that is, he's saying, "Oh, why aren't we in a relationship?" Or wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, so they started this indoctrination of masculinizing the
Long time.
woman and making the man feminine since the fucking 90s. And they've been doing this since the 60s, but they've been slowly doing it. And then women like you complain,
But
"Why
who?
can't I
Like
find a guy?"
who's doing that?
I can't find it.
Who's
It's a
who's propagating that?
I'll go to World War II.
Jake will tell you.
Not on this podcast. Not on this podcast.
This officially started.
We're on
in World
Rumble
War
only,
II.
so we are. Oh, sorry, you were saying?
It started in World War II when we were engaged in global warfare and we were sending our young men out to die. Then we needed people producing spare parts, munitions, weapons of war. Well, the men were out fighting. So then we had Rosie the Riveter making a muscle, even though it's pathetic to look at a woman trying to make a muscle, because mostly it's not there and it's not strong if it is there. So we put you guys in the factory and told you that you should be a worker instead of a housewife because your husband was gone. And then we never put you back into the kitchen after the guys returned from war. It was a whole blockade of propaganda. The government also influences and funds Hollywood as well,
Oh, of
which
course.
is a fact.
Totally.
So this was the start of the decline of Western civilization, specifically the white male patriarch known as the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. We saw the decline of religion and much else, and that is when the female started to get outside of the home and into trouble.
So the government. We're blaming the government.
He just named a multitude. He just named a multitude of institutions.
I totally understand. I'm saying, as like, who propagated that first is what I'm saying. The military.
People behind the strings pulling some things.
Yeah,
I think this isn't the right podcast to get into it.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. Because I think you're probably aware. It seems I get the sense we know who's there's certain
this.
Characters that like to.
I don't mean names. I'm saying you're saying the elites or the 1%. Or
man, we're on Rumble, bro. Say what you want.
Whoever they
we're on Rumble, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It gets complicated, but
it does.
I don't know if we really should get into that. It's a long topic to dive into.
Oh, no.
But
I
we don't
know.
have to,
I like to hear different people's perspectives.
We don't actually have to name the group to know what the solution is.
Boom, there you go.
So, like, for example, like, say you were morbidly obese. I don't have to figure out exactly why you're fat. I don't have to figure out, like, are you eating cupcakes? Are you eating late at night? To give you the solution, which is exercise and reduce caloric intake, right? So we're more solution oriented, but yes, since
I just
World
like
War
to
II,
see the pattern, so I can see like where in society the break was, so that
let me gauge the girls' knowledge. Does anyone at the table know who it is? Just out of curiosity.
Who it is?
The led to these things, feminism, etc.
The
homosexuality,
one person,
yeah, all that stuff, yeah. Does anyone know?
Runs Hollywood.
You said that you knew.
Music industry.
Does anyone know?
Banking.
Okay, nobody knows. All right.
One person, or breaking it down to one person.
I just kind of wanted to see where they're. We can't. If we brought it up, it would
take a while. Is the problem?
Yeah, because they don't even know who it is. So it's like if we said it, they're like, what?
You'd have to go into.
Are you talking about it like a singular person?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it one person? Is it a group? Is it
women did that?
It's like a mafia.
I mean, I get it. We can get into the Rothschilds and all that crap. I get it. I'm saying, like, is it one person?
We can move it along.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
I want to know the answer.
I could say a lot of things, but I'll just say that, like, yes, I agree with you. I have seen a huge decline in masculinity. I have seen a huge, that's why, like, so many men are buying OnlyFans. That's why so many men are okay with this kind of lifestyle. Well, not okay, but they obviously buy into it. There's a lot of things that are out of balance right now. And a lot of females are weakened by it because they don't feel like well, of course they do have a place in society. Of course they can do a lot of things with what they have, but like the amount of downplay that women have nowadays is insane. The place that women put themselves in is insane comparable to men, and then men aren't being recognized for who they are, so they're also being downplayed and demasculinized or whatever. I feel like a lot of men are just like, I don't know, they're not men anymore.
All right. What about you? Thoughts on the show? Final thoughts? Questions?
I think it was a healthy debate. You know, we can agree to disagree, and there's different perspectives, and I'm appreciative to be here on the show and talk to everybody here.
Thank you for coming. What about you?
I think that, in order for us to keep society being a decent society, we need to make sure that our children are protected. And it's one thing to do sex work, but it's another thing to condone it and then publicize it, because I actually saw a thing that said that over time, our children will no longer be children anymore. There will be no childhood. There will be young individuals, but there will not be childhood anymore. And there's nothing wrong with doing what you need to do to be in survival to get it done, but to turn that and say, okay, like, this is the best thing that there is, I think that is completely wrong. And I just really hope that we really change our perspective.
Did you have the same mindset as some of the girls earlier on the podcast, like retarded Danny Banks, etc., before you got married?
No, I never had the same mindset. I just was in survival.
Okay. So you knew, like, all right, I got to get the fuck up out of this and find a man, versus I'm a boss and I got a lifestyle to maintain and all this other shit.
I actually never even tried to be a boss in that situation. I would work until I made what I needed to make, and I'd never even try to go over it, because I would try to heal myself in the moments that I had off to get back to where I was to do it again.
You know what's interesting? I've always said that, like, when girls make money, they'll be like, oh, I made $1,000. That's good. I'm good now. And then they get the fuck up out of there. And this is the difference, because, like, you guys were trying to insult him for saying that women aren't hard workers. The reality is that women just make the money as a means to an end to get the lifestyle, whatever. Like, they make enough. All right, I'm done. But for men, it's like, oh, I made $1,000 today. If I do this 30 days, I can make $30K this month. And men will have a higher proclivity to work hard because our status is contingent upon that. Our ability to attract a mate is contingent upon that. But for women, it's not. Like, you guys can get a guy and be a brokey. But we can't do that. So this is why men in general just work harder than women. Like it's just a fact. Like a lot of girls, well, women make more money nowadays. I mean, guys go into more laborious jobs. Women don't. They
do
go
we want to be making more money these days anyway? We should be being mothers and being in the household, being cooks, and getting back to how it used to be, and having the men be on the battlefield.
See, but most girls would tell you you're lazy and you're stupid for saying that. So most women would tell you that they would shit on you for saying that.
And that's the psyops that's happening. Of course, yeah, for sure.
I agree with you.
You have a soul. Like, you have a soul. And there have been some soulless individuals here that, frankly, are just energy suckers. And it's like they almost hate you for having a soul. And just side note, I actually probably should mention, like, when I said I was selling drugs, I was 12 years old. I was born into poverty. I was a child. I was 12 years old. But the moment that I could transition into something, I did. So those were the decisions of a child versus the decisions of a woman. But in both cases, they're bad. And I just really want to know, like, it's our responsibility to hold things together.
And here's the thing. It's funny because, like, if I asked the Saint, hey, was selling drugs shameful? He wouldn't stutter. He'd be like, yeah, it was. But I noticed when he asked you guys that, you guys have had an issue and didn't want to concede to that. So I think that's a big difference. But, yeah. Do you have something? What about you? Yeah.
I just wanted to
Or did you finish your point? Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Change
Last
starts
thoughts.
with uncomfortable conversations, and change and getting the world to run smoothly and set good examples. And if you don't have these conversations, these plus others, there's other ways to do it. You don't have conversations, you don't have communication, and you don't listen to receive and just listen to respond, you don't learn, and you don't change the world, and you don't change yourself. I also would like to say I'm a big mental health advocate. With mental health, you have to start with being real with yourself. Hey, what's wrong? What is going wrong with me? How can I be the best person to contribute to the world? Because, hey, life's short. We want to be the best that we can be. And figure yourself out. Self-love, women, I'm always going to promote that. Self-love does not look like saying fuck everything and everybody. It's love. It starts with love, and you put it out, and you be real with yourself.
I have a question.
What's up?
You said you have a commercial cleaning business. Did you start up that business through the money that you made from dancing?
Partially, yes.
Okay. Like, how long did you dance before you were able to make that segue?
I could have made it prior. I was nervous to just jump into it, so it probably a couple years.
Okay, so you were dancing for a couple of years, and you were able to transition out, like 2-3 years, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, and then you took that money and invested into your business. And when's the last time you danced since then?
Ooh, it's been a few years.
All right. No, I just asked that because what I've noticed is, like, very rarely do girls, like, transition out of that life. Right. I mean, most of the girls here are still in it, right? So like they haven't, they like, they're in and they're still in it.
Yeah, it's hard. So, fast money is an addictive thing, and that's why I think your mental health is really important, because you need to have the discernment to know, hey,
fast?
This is my plan.
Does that also mean easy?
Yeah.
Okay. Question: do you guys ever want to get out the industry? Do you ever want to get out?
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
I don't want to get out. I'm very happy in it. But I know that there will be a means to an end, and I have no qualms about that.
There you go, girl. Double down.
Okay.
All right.
I got out because it just didn't resonate with me. My soul, I could feel it was bringing me down. I mean, you could say the devil was taking over.
How long did you dance
it's a real. I danced. So I was underage dancing in LA.
Damn.
Yeah,
Whoa,
really bad.
Whoa,
really
17.
bad.
What's the age? What is the age in LA?
I was 17. So. You know, I was dancing in LA at 16, 17. Did it for a couple years, had some really crazy years, was not living my highest potential and the things I had done prior in my life because I wasn't happy with myself. And staying in it made me realize it was making me become someone I didn't want to become, and I didn't recognize myself anymore. So I decided to take myself out, not out of shame, not out of embarrassment. It was not in
20,
alignment with me.
21, when did you get out?
21.
21?
Yeah.
Right.
So I've been out for a long time, and it's been hard. It's been hard trying to do my own businesses and have regular jobs and trying to balance it all, and there's just days... Hard as far as, like,
Are
because
you saying
she's
that it was easy and fast when you were stripping?
I wouldn't say easy, but fast. I don't think dancing or anything in the adult industry is easy. Fast.
But what you're doing now is
not
hard.
laborious, maybe, totally.
But what you're doing now is hard.
It definitely is more laborious and requires a lot more mental strength and just requires more of me, which for me, I like the challenge because I want to live up to my highest potential, and that's what makes me truly feel fulfilled. But I had to live the life and come full circle to fully comprehend and live that.
If you guys talk long enough, that truth eventually comes out, because earlier you guys said that it was hard work being in the sex industry. And
I think it's more mentally. It's just mentally taxing. I mean, physically, sure, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
You're feeling your soul die.
So
that's not the work. That's the consequence. You're feeling your soul die.
Totally, but it does, regardless, take a lot out of you.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
not normal.
I can dig that. Yes.
Jake.
Yeah.
Take us away, brother.
I ain't got much to add. I think it was a good conversation. We had a bunch of good points. Mostly friendly. A couple of the girls bounced, but overall pretty good.
Myron, what's the record for like castles on your show?
I don't. No, we've
one show,
the whole show.
Why do you call it? Why do you call it that?
You've kicked out the whole show.
Panel, basically.
Yeah.
Why do you call it?
Show's
Castle?
over.
It comes from Frank Castle.
The Punisher.
The Punisher. I got that nickname after. I had a TikTok that went viral, and I said, like, hey, if a girl cancels on a date, you need to punish that bad behavior. And if you do meet up with her, she's got to pay for the first round on the next date. And then they said, well, Punisher, what are you talking about? Like, because the whole concept of, like, punishing bad behavior for women is, like, a foreign fucking concept. So I said, oh, well, in that case, if you guys are going to get mad at me for punishing girls for doing dumb shit, call me Frank Castle. That's how I came up with that name. So, yeah, just basically, because guys are simps, man. A lot of times they'll let girls walk all over them, talk to them crazy, etc. Matter of fact, a lot of the girls that I kicked off the podcast, the reason they behave that way is it's a byproduct of the men that they've had in the past, allowing them to behave that way they did. I've dealt with Danny Banks before. She's fucking annoying. You know, but the thing is that when you're famous and you're a chick and you make money, etc., you think you can talk to people anyway. Like, no, man, that's not how this fucking works. Like, you know, I have a very low tolerance for female disrespect, and the reason why I have such a low tolerance for it is because I can't hit them. You know, as a man, if you the difference is this, right? There's a small yeah, I can't hit them. I'm not gonna hit them.
Trying to be accurate here.
Yeah, you
know, we would never hit women.
I can't, and I never would.
Never hit women, by the way.
I can't, and I never would. So I nip it in the butt immediately, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna tolerate this fuckery from you because you are not prepared to do physical combat with me, and I'm not going to do physical combat with you because you're a fucking woman. I don't look at you as an equal. I look at you as an inferior.
This one called you a fucking bitch when she walked out. A guy would never.
Yeah, because
like a black bitch,
exactly. Because with men,
bitch or something. Like,
there's a silence.
At least just say the N-word.
I think I think she was talking about like a black hole.
With men, right? Like there's a silent air where it's like, okay, we're going to respect each other because there's mutually assured destruction, right? There's a reason why we don't nuke Russia. There's a reason why we don't nuke China, because they can nuke us back. But with women, they don't seem to understand this concept.
Not at all.
They act crazy and say crazy things because they know that they can get away with it. So when a girl starts to disrespect, I kind of have to nip it in the butt immediately. Like, no, bitch, I'm not one of those guys. Get the fuck out of here.
She probably literally has 1,000 guys simping on her OnlyFans every day.
Exactly.
Can I ask you a real question?
Sure.
Do you believe, since we're talking about respect, do you think that responding with disrespect is solving anything?
Sometimes it's necessary.
Genuinely.
Sometimes it's necessary because when you deal with combative women like that, they're not rational. They're whores. They're stupid. They don't have. They have lower IQ. You have to deal with stupid people in stupid language, and a lot of times you got to speak their language back to them. No, you stupid bitch, get the fuck up out of here. That's what they understand. I can't sit there and be like, well, you know, look, the way you spoke was a little disrespectful. We're running a podcast here. There's about 20,000 people watching.
Well, I think there's a way to be diplomatic. You're very diplomatic in a way of checking someone, but in an intellectual way that maybe doesn't make them feel absolutely just disrespected, like they're a piece of fucking shit under your shoe. And I think that is a skill to learn.
If you don't remember, a lot of the girls were coming at him precisely because of that. So there's no real way.
I was actually wondering who was meaner. At the beginning, I was like, who is meaner? I was like, I think it's me right now.
It's because women are emotionally erratic, so it doesn't matter how, because they care about how things are said to them. They don't care about the information conveyed, even if it's 100% correct. They care about how it's said in tonality and shit like that. So a lot of the times the girls come in here and they act that way or whatever. So like I just have a very low tolerance for female disrespect because I look at it like, call me an asshole. I don't think men and women are equal. I think we're superior to you guys, and I think we're the leaders. And women need to listen to men and follow men and I don't look at you the same, because if I looked at you the same, then I would say stupid shit like, let's go have fun to Bill. Hey, home intruder came in. How about you go deal with it? Like, women love to be treated like a lady, but they forget that being treated like a lady inherently means you're not equal to us. You do understand that, right, ladies? Yep. Chivalry was based on the concept of inequality. I'm opening the door for you because you're physically inferior. I'm protecting you because you're physically inferior. I'm making the money because you don't have the ability to work a laborious job and earn this income like I can. I'm the leader because I'm more rationally sound. Everything about me is better than you, which is what you're attracted to. But then for some crazy reason, right? When push comes to shove and we're having a disagreement, you want to sit there and say you're equal to me now. Fuck no, you're not. Sorry, you were going to say something?
Yeah, sorry. So the other thing, too, is like with this like hyper masculine woman, you know, they're never going to really find a man. Well, they might find a man, but he's going to be feminine, but they're not going to find a masculine man who's actually going to put them in their place and guide them. Because the thing is like, if let's just look at the Bible. If the Bible says we fear God, but God is the Father, so we need to fear the masculine energy and allow that energy to lead us. So which means we need to get off of our high horse, let go of us being hyper masculine, step into our femininity, and get soft.
Yeah, I am happy for your man, by the way. He made a good choice.
Yeah,
happy for your man, by the way.
Because I want the ladies, because you mentioned this earlier that like it's hard because guys are intimidated by you, etc. Like I'm just going to give you ladies a tip. The more masculine you are, right? You're going to push away those masculine men, because one of the biggest foundations of being a masculine guy and having your shit together is not tolerating fuckery from women. Yep. So they're not going to sit there and fucking negotiate with you like, hey, I need you to do this. Well, I don't feel like, he's just like, bitch, fuck, in his head, he might not tell you, fuck you. He's going to be like, she's not the one. Right. This girl's sex only. I ain't never going to take her serious. And he just will never tell you. The difference is like when we reject you guys, we don't tell you we're rejecting you. We're going to continue to have sex with you. We're going to lead you on. We're going to sell you the dream. We're going to fucking lie. We're just going to extract sex from you as long as we fucking can and never commit to you. And then when you say, what are we? And he says, I'm not ready for a relationship yet. Translation, you're fucking stupid. You're annoying. You do something that I am not willing to commit to right now. Yep. And girls need to understand that. We silently get rid of you guys. Yeah. So if you're a masculine woman, you need to tone it back, because as soon as you be annoying, like, man, she ain't the one. And then you're done.
Done.
Sartain.
Yeah, one of the things Dr. Buss talks about in his books is this concept where you have to get a drink, as I said, Dr. Buss. One of the things he talks about in his books is as men gain more advantage, more leverage in the sexual dating, in the sexual marketplace, then women will lose, and vice versa. And that's what we see a lot of times. If you listen to a bunch of men give other men really good advice on how to make women attracted to them, to the normal public, it's going to sound toxic 100% of the time. And if you gave a bunch of women the opportunity to explain to other women how to go ahead and take advantage of men, you listen to Cardi B, you know, I don't cook, I don't clean, whatever. If you listen to that, it's always going to sound offensive to us. The difference is societally, it's not that bad. If women warn other women about men, that podcast is awarded. And if men warn other men about women, then all of a sudden they're considered to be misogynist.
You might end up in a jail.
For sure. Exactly.
Yeah. And all the men that don't understand women, they all call us crazy too. They're like, that's not what women like. They like this. But there's these dudes that they don't get the women.
But here's the differences in that is, if like what he says before about having boundaries. If you do that, then this is weird thing that happens to you. Maybe it's when you're in your teens or your 20s or whatever, or maybe you had a father figure who saw this. You're going to stand up to your girl for the first time because you finally have had enough. You genuinely have had enough. It's not game. You genuinely have had enough. And you stand up to her and you realize, I would rather be alone than deal with this this lack of peace that you're bringing me. And when you do so, this crazy thing happens because you think it's over, and now she has never been more attracted to you.
Yep,
and it is so fucking confusing, because then you look back and you're like, what was I doing for the last 25 years? Holy shit. Really, if I had just maintained some level of a boundary, then all of a sudden this thing that she told me she didn't want is actually the thing that made her the most attracted to me. And so that's the conundrum for us. In the end, if men can lead and women can follow, then in general, that's way better for a relationship.
But pick a man that can lead.
Yes. Can I piggyback off of that?
Yes. Agreed. Yeah.
I think a lot of women get really like super emotional about like throwing that narcissism word around, like, you're a narcissist, and you hate women. And it's like, I've never seen like you guys podcast. My daughter's dad watches you, so I've heard it in the background, but I didn't really know. I just know what people say, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna receive them as who they are today and what I see. And I don't, and some people even think the same about them, but I don't see women hater at all. I see because I feel like the same way you hold women accountable, you are saying the same thing about simps too. You're not like saying all men are great. Yeah, you're not saying all men are great. You're saying like simps are things up too. Like men need to be men and women be women, and I respect that and I get that, and I think that's lost on a lot of women because we hear something and it feels like an attack, and it's like, no, they're saying fuck the simps too. So
you want to know why?
Get that.
Because women are the real narcissists.
Yeah.
I'll explain to you. During the course of this conversation, we've stated many times, this is a general fact. This is an objective fact in the general. And most of the women internalized it, felt attacked. Like Danny, for example, you weren't even talking to her.
I didn't even look at her.
She internalized it. A couple of the girls, especially the girls that got kicked out, they internalized it, got angry, and then we're like, well, what the fuck, blah, blah, blah. Because what ends up happening, right? If I were to say here with the guys, most guys are fucking fat losers. Now, one guy's going to start an argument with me. They're going to say, yeah, you're fucking right.
Hey, man,
pussies.
that's not cool, bro.
Yeah, they're not going to say something stupid like women do, which is say, not all men are like that. Like, no, they understand objective reality, and in general, most guys are losers, and they're okay with that. But with women, if I make a criticism of females, they immediately attribute it to themselves, and then they respond as if I'm talking to them. That's a narcissistic trait, by the way. And the thing is that the other reason, too, why I say women are far more narcissistic than men are is because you guys have to be. You have to be extremely vain. You have to worry about your looks. You have to maintain your beauty as much as you can because that's your primary agency. So if we were to sit there and like take 100 men and 100 women, I guarantee you a larger majority of the female are going to be narcissists than the men.
By far.
Not even close. So whenever girls say, he's a narcissist, blah, 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 I kind of laugh because I'm like, well, most women are narcissists.
Yeah, like you're the narcissist.
Yeah.
You can't go outdoors without painting your face. Stop it. You'll risk your life to get bigger breasts or bigger butt. Like you'll risk dying for that. Like, come on.
It's crazy because and it's the number one thing I noticed when talking with women versus talking with men. We've interviewed almost 3,000 girls. The number one thing, biggest difference is when I say something objectively, women attribute it to themselves. When I say things objectively, men are able to look outside the box and be like, you're correct about that. I might not agree with it. I don't like it, but it is true. And they will not attribute it to themselves. That's the biggest difference when I communicate with them.
You kind of tell on yourself when you pipe up and you're like, it's,
Rollo Tomasi, the rational male.
Gosh, so much to talk about.
The rational male.
I think one of the reasons why we have such a disconnect right now, especially Taylor, from what you were saying, we want guys we want them to man up, but yet for the last really 60 some odd years, we've told them to man down. And we've just systematically demasculinized men at the same time we've masculinized women. And one of I think the more insidious parts of that whole process is that we've made we've turned women into the men that they want to marry in the first place. Well, how did we get to that point? When we talk about we want a worthy man, we like you're saying, we've got to get back to this traditional stuff. I don't think we go back to that. I think we go forward into something like that, but we don't go backwards to where we were before. And the reason for that is because when we're talking about an alpha female, there's no such thing as an alpha female. No such thing as an alpha female.
Or girls, they call themselves that.
I know. And I'm going to tell you why they call themselves that. Because they see what alpha men do, alpha males do, and that is a source of security for them that they have been systematically taught that they can't trust, and like men are just inherently untrustworthy. They are either Homer Simpson, Dr. Huxtable, whatever, that doofy dad, Homer Simpson, that doofy dad archetype. That's one choice you get. The other choice you get is borderline abuser, who is going to be an asshole that you cannot trust. You certainly can't trust Homer Simpson for your long-term security. You better not trust the son of a bitch who is a borderline abuser. And then we've got the new version, which is the Zoomer version, which is can't drive a stick. He's the incompetent one. He can't change a tire. He can't do jack shit without calling somebody in to come and do it because he doesn't have the competency to do that. Either he is uninterested in learning those skills or he's just simply incapable of learning those skills. So when you teach 4 generations of women that these are your fucking choices right here, well, what's the most logical deductive reason, like what's the course of action, right? Well, I need to be an alpha female. I need to be the man who can provide my long-term security because none of these motherfuckers can do it. And I'm the one that's going to have to do that. So whenever we see women talking about, like we heard it just on today's show, well, what if he leaves with this secretary? What if he falls off? What if he's not the guy that I want him to be after 6 years, 10 years, 8 years, whatever it is? What if, right? And the contingency for that what if is I got to get the bag. I got to get my education. I've got to join.
It's a sick cycle. You just keep reinforcing it.
I've got to start doing OnlyFans because that's how I get my money and that's how I'm going to achieve long-term security. How am I going to feed my babies? Because I can't trust this motherfucker, even if he's a billionaire. And you could, no, I don't know, there's just something that's not right about this guy, and he's not absolutely perfect. Is he the best I can do? And the answer is always going to be no. And so as a result of that, now we've got to get into college. Now we have to have Title IX. Now we have to have all of these special dispensation for women over the course of 4 or 5 generations, right? And so we get to 2024, and women are like, I'm an empowered woman. I got the bag. I'm an alpha female. But the problem is you've become the man that you wanted to marry in the first place. And so what happens is, and I've tried to explain this in like very stupid, simple terms to Dr. Phil when I was on Dr. Phil's show, right? And I said, men have become superfluous. Because the alpha female, the woman who doesn't trust men, she just got no use for any man whatsoever. They're nice to have around, but you don't actually need men. They want men. What are the men that they want? They want Justin Waller. They want fucking Jack Reacher. They want fucking Jason Momoa because that guy lays down the good dick. And that's really all they need, or they think that they need, because they're already in control of their own long-term security.
Hey, man.
Over the course of...
What about me?
Yeah. What about you? Yes.
No, it's very true. I mean, myself, I've stopped subscribing, if you will, to the constant rhetoric of over and over again, men ain't shit. This, because I feel like it's... reflecting in my own universe versus trying to take off these glasses and look at the world through my own
The toughest
eyes.
part for women is, can you trust a man? Can you give up enough? Can you give up your OnlyFans? Can you give up your Instagram? Can you stop advertising your sexuality? Even to the most minute degree. Can you stop doing
yes.
that?
Will I? That's another question.
Probably not, because you're like, but what if he falls off? What if he fucks his secretary? What if he finds a trophy wife? What if I get ugly and fat and he doesn't want to fuck me anymore? What if? And how are we going to send the kids to college if we don't do that kind of stuff? And so there's this need for long-term security for women, but that security is met by them. And then what happens? I'm so tired all the time. I have to do so much fucking work. I've got so much to do. Yeah, because you're trying to do the work of 2 people. Men and women are innate complements. We're better together than we are apart, but we've been taught to distrust one another because men cannot be trusted for long-term security.
I have a question.
Anyways, that's my rant at the end.
I have a question about that.
Wait.
Kind of.
You had a point real quick?
I did. So the other day, like, my man had said to me, he said, who's the prize in the relationship, the male or the female? And I thought it was very interesting because I feel like we're all going to say, like, the female. We all think it's the female. We're beautiful. We do this and we do that. And he looked at me and he's like, it's not the woman. It's the man. There are a plethora of women who are beautiful. There are a plethora of women with good pussy. There are a plethora of women who have education and want to go get things done. But for a man to be able to lead a woman to greatness who doesn't really have anything at all, which is a lot of us, that is the prize.
No, we definitely watch this.
I wanted to know what would you categorize the men that are like, I don't want you to need me or want me for my money or for my success or for my status. I just want you to want me for me. Like, what's up with that?
They're fat.
Like, I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, what are they categorized as simps or like? Because they'll be successful. I mean, whatever level of that, but it's like, I don't want you to, how dare you want me for my, it's like, why?
Well, it's because the majority of women that have been with them in the past probably only wanted them for that because they're lacking in sexual market value. That's 9 out of 10 times when guys have money but they don't have anything else. They're square, they're ugly, they're not in shape, they're not masculine, they're not confident, they're not, you know what I mean? They're just not,
and older.
or older. They're used to attractive women just using them for their resources, so they're in defensive mode about that.
Yeah. But guys who don't fuck are idealistic, and they want that idealism. I want you to want me for me. You still have a burden of performance.
Exactly.
I want it unconditionally. No, you don't want it unconditionally. You want it idealistically.
The only thing I'll say before we close, you said something very interesting, Rolo. You said that women operate on what if, and I agree with you 100% on that. I was going to say women operate on what if and men operate on what now. So like he'll get the girl and he'll say, okay, what now? Assuming the girl, doesn't fuck up, isn't a whore. A lot of the times guys rarely break up relationships. So girls really are the ones that end the majority of relationships and, end it. So it's like, women are like, what if? And she ends it, why? What if? Am I getting the best guy? What if I met that other guy? What if I took out that date with
the one that got away?
Yeah. So
Alpha
that's what girls always do.
Pretty much the same
Girls
thing.
always operate on what if, and guys operate, I got the girl, what now?
Is he the best I can do?
Okay, start in the center.
Marquette.
Devon, Burton.
I expect you to roll your R's when you say my name.
Rollo. There's just so much. I'll be brief. The group that's most at fault are males. It's the simps who are actually funding the women who become boss babes, and they're empowered and become multimillionaires through OnlyFans, and then they promote their degeneracy. Which is why I'm going to make a T-shirt, if someone would remind me, beat up simps. We need to start a culture of keeping these fellas in line, which is the leadership class has to do this, the real men. And we're beyond a time of compromise. People who say that they're savages, it's actually time to go into savage mode. We have to force the weak males and the simps to behave. And though I might go back and forth with the OnlyFans girl, that's just for entertainment on the show. I would never argue with a female. It's not even a reasonable concept.
I agree.
Right? Because we're not a peer.
Yeah. We don't, if it's not on camera, girls try to debate me off. I'm like,
that's what I was asking earlier, by the way. Like, do you think that's the way?
No, I just make
so that's very good.
We don't argue.
That's nice.
Like, me and my girl don't argue. Like, I don't argue with women because for me to argue with you assumes we're equal.
Or you're meeting them at a lower level.
I was curious about the guys, because we didn't talk about that.
Sorry.
Yes.
My bad.
No, that's completely reasonable, and we're all going to have to do this together. Is the challenge. So the simps need to be beaten up, the slores need to be shamed, and the men in our position, there's no such thing as a gentleman today. You can't be a gentleman. That's like the worst thing to be. You actually have to be a savage today, and we're basically engaging in cultural revolution. So another thing that I want to speak on in terms of women, because women are good at talking. This is where they excel. If you ask a woman, can she follow? The answer should be yes, sir. Full stop. Even men are good at following. That's why we're able to be soldiers. They recognize who the general is. I took 33 men to Vietnam. For us to stay together as a group and not encounter any issues and to move quickly, I let everyone know, you are not special. You are a part of a special group. When you hear Peace to the Saints, you respond, you're silent, and you figure out which way are we moving, what's going on. They're happy to follow and comply because they know that they have a good leader. They know they have a good leader. He's not going to lead us down the right path. We're going to go in 100%. We also have to build up men. The men who say they want to be great, they have to be willing to be a savage. Combat sports is an excellent start at that. They also have to build their minds and build their character and be worthy of leading. And we also have to realize that there's not going to be a one-to-one matchup on men who are good leaders and women who need a man. And that's also something that we need to understand and acknowledge. And so I think all of you guys here, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you all inviting me out, because I know I say some wild things, so thank you. And wishing everyone well, and thank you.
Very factual, man. Not wild at all. Wild in the pussy world that we're in now.
Right.
Thanks for having me as well.
We got to thank Sartain and Rolla for putting us together, and the girls for coming as well.
I also want to thank our producers back here who stayed fucking hella late, and they're going to be doing a 24-hour podcast marathon after this. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
I got to say real quick, guys, I know craziness is happening in social media world about me. And
what happened with you?
About me?
Yeah. And I can't say too much just because, like, what's going on, but just trust me when I say
there's lawyers involved.
You're going to know the truth of what's happening soon.
And we know it.
And I'll leave you with this. So, like, let's say you're a fisherman, right? You catch a lot of fish. Right. Some fish get loose. Some you throw off the boat. And it's like, things happen, guys. You know, things happen. And ultimately, man, I just hope you guys rock with me, because when you see the truth, you're gonna understand why I'm being quiet right now, and like you see what's up, man. But definitely, I love you guys, man.
Yeah.
Fresh,
cool. Loyal. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Fresh and Fit. We'll be back. We won't do a show on Friday because we'll do a show for you on Monday because we're gonna be Vegas. We're gonna do Power Slap with Rumble, and then we'll be back in Miami on Monday. We'll have a show for you.
Can't wait.
So
guys,
love you guys. Peace.
Real quick, in 5 hours, we're gonna start a 24-hour marathon here at Sticky Paws. Hopefully, you guys check them out. Go to Gridiron Junkies or go to Action Junkies. You guys can watch that. I'm playing in a Madden tournament at 1:30 today. So you guys want to make sure to check that out. Also, remember, on the 18th, we're doing Halfway to Halloween in Los Angeles. And on the 20th, we are collecting stuffed animals for children in orphanages in San Diego for the Bunny Ball, if you guys are interested in that. And we're also doing an animal rescue charity May 18th in Miami, Florida, at Hyde SLS, if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I'll be there supporting Mike. And then we have an event April 26th in Miami. You guys come as well as guest speakers, and see you guys there.
Yeah, check out everybody's YouTube channel.
We will be in Miami,
Mike,
the 13th through the 19th.
Stay in the center. Check out Jake Shields on X if you guys want to know what we were talking about earlier with feminism and the root of all the problems in the world, especially in the West. Check out Jake Shields on X. I follow him, so you guys already know what that means. We'll catch you guys on Monday. Peace.
Take care.
Good night.